Suprema roll call. Suprema roll call. Suprema roll call. Suprema roll call.
As you can tell,
Yeah.
we got LL.
Yeah.
And for the first time in history,
Yeah.
my roll call failed.
Roll call. Suprema roll call. Suprema roll call.
My name is Fonte.
Yeah.
And my rhymes is vicious.
Yeah.
But I also say,
Yeah.
pudding is delicious.
Suprema roll call. Suprema roll call.
My name is Sugar.
Yeah.
I need a beat
Yeah.
like Quincy Jones needs.
Yeah.
My ears feet.
Roll call.
Suprema roll call.
Suprema roll call.
I'm Unpaid Bill.
Yeah.
Back for more.
Yeah.
Sugar Steve.
Yeah.
Happy Yom Kippur.
Roll call. Suprema. Suprema roll call.
I knew that.
Suprema roll call.
It's like
Yeah.
more like Chris Robinson.
Yeah.
Me rhyme for LL.
Yeah.
Y'all must be smoking, son.
Roll call. Suprema roll call. Suprema roll call.
LL,
Yeah.
I say bless up.
Yeah.
I'm with the tribe.
Yeah.
This one's Questlove.
Roll call.
Let's get it.
Suprema. Suprema roll call. Suprema. Suprema roll call. Suprema. Suprema roll call.
Say what?
Suprema roll call.
Damn.
Laia's feet.
Man.
Like, what rhymes with Robinson?
Son, smoking, son.
Oh.
That was, y'all didn't hear the end
I
of my
caught it, but
when
Y'all must be smoking,
Fonte's,
I was looking, I was like,
Next
okay.
level.
we were both like, wait, none rhymes with Robinson. We started.
That was
started
a
with smoking, son, and then I
With Robinson.
All right.
Okay.
So look.
All right.
All right.
Prima roll call.
I'm
okay.
gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. All right. First of all, yes, we're live in Los Angeles.
In person,
Or
yes.
we're taping in Los Angeles.
yes, Hollywood.
with no AC.
With no AC, but it's all good. This is the Questlove Supreme podcast, of course, with Fontigolo, North Carolina's finest.
Yes,
Little brother, how's preparations going for
the block
was
party.
Charlotte Day, Riley? What city?
Durham is in
Durham
Durham.
Day,
Yeah,
okay.
made in Durham. No, it's going well, man. It's just, we're at the last kind of stretch before we go. So, you know how it go. I mean, a million I's to dot, T's to cross. You know what I mean?
And you're
But,
organizing it too?
yeah, not by myself.
Okay.
Of course. We have a team, but me and Pooh, we're overseeing it from tip to tail.
Oh, headaches out the ass. I get
Yeah.
it. Sugar Steve, how's life in jazz business?
Everything's good. It's nice to be here. They don't let me out of Manhattan much, so it's good to get away.
Okay.
Sugar Steve is weed free right now, bro.
Oh yeah, there's that. There's that too. So I may talk more during the
Wow.
show.
How
this-
bright his eyes are. Look at his eyes.
Yeah, I was about to say you seem very clear today for some reason.
Took a shower. Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
The top ones.
Live,
no points.
You've been released from Sesame Street prison.
Yeah.
Where have you been? Have the Muppets been holding you hostage?
Hostage. Yeah. I got negotiated out from Sesame Street, and I'm here. I'm excited.
Really?
No, nothing. No, everything's fine. No, nothing. I've been driving my kids to volleyball.
Wait a minute,
That's
I
all
was about
do
to
now.
say, did the strike even affect Sesame Street?
Did not. Sesame Street.
So none of the
and PBS.
Muppets are
No.
unionized.
Nope. They're free from that, which is good.
Okay, that's good to hear. Well, as of this speaking, of course, we resolved the strike.
Wow, we had to grab you up.
Yeah,
this week.
exactly.
Let's go.
Laia, how's it going?
I am going good now that we getting this week started.
I was about to say, how long did it take you,
Let me
Brittany,
talk about
and
this LL story. First of all, shout outs to Claudine. You guys are shout outs to the people that make it happen, that it took months. But it was so worth it, of course.
We're here.
But yes, it's the perfect way to start our adventure with a legend.
I was about to say, Laia takes a lot of, I've been having what's the term, a tete-a-tete?
Tete-a-tete.
A tete-a-tete with a very passionate, I would say, overzealous person in the IG DMs about how we always disrespect.
Oh yeah.
With the K.
saw
Like,
that.
Yeah, what's-
so
I mean, it's not like
You
we're
know.
talking about her feet or anything like that.
right, no,
They don't know
we're
that
not.
episode, Steve.
So
It's
Just-
an LA callback.
Yo, it is a LA.
it is.
throwback, yeah. Shout out
Anyway,
to
all right.
Quincy
So
Jones.
look, I'm gonna do this. Stephen A. Smith style because, you know, I'm world famous for the intros or lack of intros or the overenthusiastic intros. But I think that it's important that our listeners understand why we should address our guest today in terms of royalty without making them cringe or whatever. So basically, I will say in the past 7 years of doing this podcast, you know, we've had presidents and musical pioneers and actors and sports figures and whatnot. 4 out of 9 Jacksons we've had on the show.
Wow.
But this is probably the episode I've been waiting for. I mean, from a guy that has co-authored a song about hip-hop being the love of his life, I will say that who better than to have what I deem probably I call him a junior pioneer only because he's the reason why my definition of the pioneer never gets the glory, but it's the person that comes behind it that improves on the pioneer. Literally, our guest today is the reason why I think that because, and I had to write this part down. Basically, you know, I will say that ad nausea that, Curtis Blow was the first gold-selling rapper on a major label, but our guest today has improved on that 12-fold. And also, he literally built the Def Jam empire without his success. I don't know if there would have been budget or whatever for the Beasties down to Public Enemy down, you know, literally built an empire. Not to mention literally so many firsts that our guest has achieved. If you want to say the 3-minute rap song, the idea of a chorus, the skit, emotions on wax, whatever.
Troop. I had my only pair of Troop.
Yeah, I was about to say,
I bought
endorsement
Troop for him.
The idea of pivoting to something else besides rapping, the comeback, the remix. Like, literally, I made a list, and it was, like, over 28, but I would bore you all, and I know he's like, I can't wait to get the fuck out of here. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome James Todd Smith, a.k.a. LL Cool J, to Questlove Supreme.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now,
man.
you're also going to realize that the reason why we really haven't had our first true conversation yet was I was waiting for this because I didn't want to, like,
Oh my
freak
God!
you out.
How did you avoid?
I didn't
want
to freak you out by, like, nerding out on you. Because I will go cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. But I was like, no,
we
just
all
save
will.
it. Save it for the podcast. So,
That's hilarious.
I hope you took notes every time you thought that.
well,
While y'all were on tour, every time you thought, I hope you took a note. Like,
no, literally, he would come and I'd hide. Like, I don't want, because I don't want him to think like I'm ignoring him or whatever, not returning his phone calls. But I'm also the kind of guy that wants to know like 12 things about his career in a casual moment. And, you know, I've always scared off many an artist
That's hilarious.
that way. So
we
I
had
just,
fun on the road, though, man.
yes, we
had
did.
fun.
Yeah. Oh man. And not
Got
to
him
mention,
in shape. Thank you.
I am back from Camp Cool J.
Talk
How
about
about,
it.
we got to hear about it. I heard about it,
Yes.
but talk about it. How the
I
regimen
mean,
you put people through.
The tour was just, you know, it was rigorous. I mean, you know, Quest worked so hard, man. I mean, rehearsing 40 hours a day, you know, 2,400 hours a day, just bringing artists in and bringing guests in and fitting them into the set. And like on stage, I would call him my general every night because he was, you know, just working so hard and so tirelessly to make it look effortless. You know what I'm saying, for the audience, and to make it a show where everybody could just come in, and once they get in, once they stood up, they basically never sat down for 2-3 hours and 3-4 hours and didn't miss a beat. It was a lot of fun. It was dope.
Yeah, we pulled up on y'all in Raleigh, man.
Nah, it was,
We was at the Raleigh show. It shows
it worked. It worked. It works for real. We still got a couple more, but it really was serious. Like, so
worked.
you did a great job on that, man. Like,
I appreciate
it was
that.
amazing.
Thank
It was amazing.
All right. So let me get to the nerdum part.
Let's go.
Okay, so without the usual rigmarole, like where were you born, all that stuff, I want to know, what was your life like in 1983, 1 year before you started your journey to your path? Like, what was typically happening to you in '83 by that point?
Yeah, so in '83, I was just running around the city, networking with, you know, other MCs and DJs and producers, and spending a lot of time in Harlem. I would go up to, like, see my man Silver Fox He lived across. He had a record store across from Grant Projects. This guy named Julio Guina had a record store and a label, CCL Records, and I spent a lot of time in Harlem at the record store, just kind of honing my craft, talking to Fox about cadences and couplets and stuff like that, and me and Kool G Rap would be like down at this place called Joe Grant's on 110th Street in Harlem, rhyming together, and you know what I'm saying, me, him, and Fox, and that. So I basically spent a lot of time, and then if I was in Queens, I might be in like Herbie Lovebug's basement. You know what I'm saying? Like when he was like just making beats. He didn't have any records out or anything, but he was down there so we'd be down there and just hanging out. And
You were born in Queens?
no, I was born in Long Island. I was born in Bayshore, Long Island.
Okay.
And then I would go back and forth between Bayshore, Long Island, and Queens, and then spent obviously most of my time in Queens ultimately. But for many years I went back and forth. You know what I'm saying, to school.
So because we always hear the folklore of hip hop and all the Bronx stories, the Bronx, and all those tapes. How is the rest of the boroughs getting spread of this creative pandemic?
Yeah. So that's a good way of looking at it, right? So what happened actually is me being in Long Island, I was in North Babylon. I would go back and forth between North Babylon and Queens. When I was in North Babylon, next door to me was a bunch of foster kids. So a woman, a couple, the McCullers, you know what I'm saying? They had like 5 or 6 foster kids like in the house, and they were from Brooklyn, the Bronx, or uptown, like everywhere. And a lot of them, like my man Kenny from Brooklyn, and Wayne was from the Bronx, and Raynard and them would, so I would hear all the tapes. My man Eric Ward and all them, they would play all of the tapes from the Bronx. So I was exposed to hip hop from day one. Like I was exposed to like Flash and the Furious 4 and the Force MCs way early, like before the records, before Rappers Delight, before all that. I was already hearing everything that was going on in the city.
There were 4 first before 5?
Yeah, there was the Furious 4 before they were the Furious 5. Yeah.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Yeah, so I was hearing all these records and hearing these tapes, hearing the Cold Crush. So I got into it real early. So at like 8, 9 years old, I was already like rhyming and trying to rhyme like those guys and trying to make up rhymes and stuff like that. So by the time I was 11 or 12, I actually started writing. At 11 or 12, I started really getting into it. So that's why I was actually ready when I was 16 to start Def Jam, because I had already been doing it like maybe 8 years at that point. At 16, I had already been in hip hop like 8 years, like trying to, get good at it.
Who was your North Star in terms of like, that's the MC I like?
It was a mix of all of them.
Okay.
It was a mix of all of them for different reasons. So it was more like mixed martial arts than it was like one style. It wasn't just karate. It was mixed martial arts. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So it was, and funny, I actually picked that up from Bruce Lee, you know what I'm saying? Because Jeet Kune Do was like the first MMA, right? Like it was a way of the intercepting fists, and it was all about taking all of these various styles and putting them together. So that's why, like, early on I was able to do stories, love records, hard records, this and that. That's why I can do any kind of song now. So it's like it's like a guy on a basketball court who could play defense, who could shoot, who could go left, who can go right, who could do threes, who could dunk, who could, I prided myself in doing anything, avant-garde records, like anything. So, and that came from just listening to all of them, right? Hearing Spoonie and hearing Mel and hearing Mo, but then liking DLB for different reasons, liking Tito for a different reason, liking Peso for a different reason, liking JDL because of what he does, liking AD for certain reasons, liking Cass for other, it was all these different people, Shaw Rock for the Echo Chamber, and, hearing so it was all of these different people that, just kind of, I just absorbed all of it. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I got to ask you now, did you ever in your wildest dreams ever imagine that, like one of the pegs of the ladder of your whole story, that you actually go toe to toe with one of those pioneers, like in the beginning?
No, definitely not, man. Listen, you talking about Moe Dee, right?
Oh yeah.
Definitely not. No, of course not. Like I love Mo, I still love Mo, but
Okay.
It's like basketball, right? Or boxing. I mean,
was
De La
gonna say-
Hoya had to fight Chavez, like regardless. And so, that was just, It just came with the territory. But I didn't lose any respect for him.
Okay.
I never lost respect for him. I never felt like personally insulted. I always took it as part of the game. Yeah.
I see that. So now, I mean, I've heard Rubin's side. I've talked to Ad Rock, like them, like being
Right.
at NYU, whatever.
Right.
So first of all, how did you even have? And we heard the story about like your grandfather getting you. What equipment did he get you exactly?
He got me 2. I wanted techniques, but you know my grandfather.
Gemini.
No, I wanted technique. No, you're getting Toshiba's.
Seriously?
So I was like, okay.
wow. The belt
All right, so I
drive
got
joint.
the
belt drive.
Yeah, I
Belt
got
drive,
the
yeah.
Toshiba.
Okay.
I got the Toshiba's, and I wanted a Gemini. He got me a. It wasn't a new mark. I forget the name of it, but it was a different one.
Okay.
It had a crossfader and a turn on it, and it didn't have a slide fader. It had a turn knob on it. But
Oh, disco joint, okay.
Yeah, so I had the mixer, and
So you could DJ?
oh yeah,
Okay.
oh yeah. I started off that way because, see, my grandfather, he was a jazz musician.
Okay.
And he used to take me in the basement when I was maybe 6, 5, 6, 7 and record me like doing little jazz things. And he would like mess with stuff, and he had like a reel, and I'd be down there doing little jazz stuff and all that. You know what I'm saying? So I came up listening to like, you know, Jimmy Smith at the Penthouse and, you know, all of these. But then I'd be listening to Smothers Brothers, like comedy
Right. Wow,
records. But
yeah.
then I'm listening to like, so I got exposed to a lot of different kinds of music, whether it was Miles or Charlie Parker or Bird or Birdland stuff and Ella Fitzgerald and Duke Ellington, all this stuff, Count Basie records. So and it was a lot of big band too. So it wasn't just the normal jazz, it was a lot of big band jazz. But anyway, I say that to say that's where I kind of got into it, you know what I'm saying? And then I ended up getting the equipment because I fell in love with it because I got hit on a mini bike, and my grandfather wanted to keep me in the house, and it was a choice.
Settlement money?
No,
Oh.
it was the settle. They were just trying to keep me in the house because, you know, we used to have the mini bikes and all that with the, you know, with the shoelace tied to the throttle
Right,
with no
right.
brakes on it. Just running around the block, and I got hit on one of them joints, and then, you know, they was like, my grandmother was going crazy in the neighborhoods talking. That was like headline news.
Okay.
And then so he got me some equipment to keep me in the house.
But there
'Cause-
was never any resistance to hip hop in your family, in your household.
No.
Did they know what hip hop was to be like? No.
Well, the only resistance came later when I started becoming professional, because my grandmother didn't really believe that it was real, and she wanted me to stay in school. And my mother
All right.
secretly had made a pact with her that she would let me stay out of school for 2 years. Because remember, I dropped out in the 9th grade. To
How
start.
old were you when radio came out?
When I Need a Beat came, I was 16. Radio, I was turning 17. I was around 17.
So
'Cause
you
you
and
always
your
like
mom
a-
had a deal that you would secretly drop out.
Secret? No, my mother had a secret deal that she would let me stay out of school and pursue my dreams for 2 years.
Okay.
And if it didn't work out, she would make me go back to
back to
school.
school.
Because I asked her, I'm like, why did you let me do that? And she said, because you were really, really passionate about it, and I knew you were young enough to be able to go back to school.
Ooh,
So she took that shot. I'm
That's a
glad
blessing,
she did.
man. Nah, that's a blessing.
I'm glad she did.
Yeah, we
you
all
know
are.
what I mean?
Yeah, I'm just curious about your grandfather. What instrument did he play?
Tenor saxophone. Played the tenor sax. And so I used to, you know, grow up and just learning how to change the reeds and how to clean it and, you know, mess around with it, stuff like that.
Wait, you would play sax?
I would mess around with it, but nothing of any consequence. I mean, I used to mess around with it, but nothing that,
You could at least play like Love Roller Coaster
you know,
or something like
I mean, nothing of any real consequence. But I did grow up around a lot of instruments. He would buy me guitars, I would break them and pop the strings and stuff like that.
Okay.
And but it was just he had a love for music, and my grandmother loved music, and my mother wrote poetry. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, and played the accordion and you know what I'm saying. So
Yo, how come we don't know this?
yeah,
Like this makes sense.
Yeah.
This makes total
sound
sense.
like Prodigy a lot too.
Yeah.
Like the things you
Exactly.
Know about Prodigy.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
yeah.
So-
Growing up, yep.
For you, how did you even have the wherewithal to know that? Let me hand deliver these tapes. First of all, what's on the tapes? Are you just like freestyling and impeach the president, or like?
No, we.
Uh,
So my mother, I was about to quit because I couldn't make any headway because labels, a lot of labels were turning me down. Well, it wasn't that many, but
What was
you
the
know.
first label you went to?
Well, I sent something to Sugar Hill. I tried to get on Sugar Hill.
Okay.
And that, when I started trying to get on Sugar Hill, I was probably like 14, maybe 13. And
Do they know this now?
They do now. You know, so when I was 13, what up, Leland? And so when I was like 13, 14, I started sending demos to Sugar Hill, trying to get on them. They responded, though. They were polite.
What
they
did
said,
they?
you know, we just want to inform you that we're not interested in your material. This, you know, it was a standard letter.
Right.
So it was cool. And then after that, I was about to quit because I had been trying since I was about 14 years old, and it had been 2 years, and now I'm 16, and I'm about to quit because I'm like, you know, I'm not making any headway. And I had made a decision to go pro and be a professional recording artist. And so my mother, you know, she found one of the letters. I had balled it up and threw it in my room, and she walked in and found it somehow and was reading it. And then she came over and she was like giving me a hug because I was depressed. She's like, "What's wrong?" Blah, 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 blah. I'm like, "Nah, then, you know, I can't, you know, I don't have no equipment. I can't make a good demo, this and that." So she said, "Well, what do you need?" And I told her I need a drum machine so I can this and that.
I need a beat.
Yeah, I need a beat, exactly. And that was the demo. So I went out and I did a record, a demo. She bought me a Korg drum machine, and I went to my man Spin Master Finesse's house in his basement, and we played it manually because we didn't want to learn how to program it.
Right.
So we just played everything manually and did a pause tape overdub, and I made I Need a Beat. The demo.
What?
Yeah, I made I Need a Beat, the demo.
So you didn't even know how to sequence it?
Nah, I just did it by hand. And then once I did it by hand, by feel, then I went back and rhymed to what I did by hand, and then I went back, and my man did some scratching on it, and I went back. I just did it that way. You know what I'm saying? And then I sent that in, and, you know, the rest is history.
Here we are.
So Ad Rock
heard it. Ad Rock heard it, and then he took it. Obviously, they had the real drum machines. You know, it took it to another level. It was a similar beat, but he took it to a whole nother level. Him and Rick, and you know.
Well, number one, do you still have those rejection letters?
I probably do in my house, in my grandmother's house somewhere. Yes, I would say yes.
I'm waiting for
in
the
the
I would say yes. I would say
yes.
yes.
So bad.
I would say yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
What about
I got 'em.
that? What about that demo? Did that ever come out?
It's around, because that's, you know, it's funny. That's where where they got drop, like, you know,
Oh,
and all
really?
that. Yeah, because I did all that on my demo.
Seriously?
Like, yeah. So when the Beastie Boys did all that, some of those little lines they did, a lot of that was you know, based on the demo. You know what I'm saying? On my
Wait,
demo.
while I'm remembering this, okay, so during the Grammy 50 celebration, I overheard. This is what really made me run out the room because I didn't want to hear the story. Can you please tell me the story? And I'm skipping a little bit ahead. Tell me the story of how you named Chung King Studios.
Oh, so Chung King. So
Wait, just that alone, like he named.
yeah. So Chung King obviously was owned by John King, right? So, but it was in Chinatown. And I could never remember his name. And I'm like, so we just started calling it Chung King because it's in Chinatown. And we used to get all the good Chinese food around there. We loved it. So I started calling it Chung King Studios. I'm like, yo, we're going to Chung King. We're going to Chung King. And one thing led to another. And John just named the studio Chung King. And they just
Chung King House of
incorporated-
Hits.
Yeah,
It
it became Chung King.
Named by LL Cool J.
Yeah, because we just, you know, we used to get Chinese food around there all the time. You know what I'm
Named
saying?
it Egg Foo Young Studio.
It could have been that too. It could have been that. You know what I'm saying? It could have been that.
So
yeah.
when you're at what point, like when you get a call back from them, is this an instant, okay, let's make it happen? Or like, are you going through the regular process of what an artist goes through?
Well, there was no
My
regular
lawyer
process
and
back
here's
then.
a
No.
okay.
So, definitely not. So, I used to, first of all, after I sent them the demo, I would call Rick every single day for like 2 weeks to ask him if he got the demo yet. And sometimes he would answer, sometimes he wouldn't. But I'd be like, yo, Rick, you get the demo yet? Nope, didn't get it yet. Okay. Yo, Rick, you get the demo? I used to call him every day following up, for 2 weeks. Then when he finally called my grandmother, I came in the house, my grandmother told me some Rick called, so I'm like going crazy. So I called him from my kitchen. He called me, he said, yo, come down. I said, he said, what's up? I said, yo, what's up, man? He said, yo, come down, we're gonna make a demo, make a record, blah, blah, blah. So I'm going crazy. And then I went down there and I made we just made the demo we took this first demo was called Catch This Break.
Okay.
You know, and if you're looking for a gin to make you buy this record and catch this break, right? And so I took that. We took that, and he took that to Russell. So Russell was like, it's the same old thing. It's the same old thing, blah, 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 blah. So me and Rick went back in the studio, and that's when he revisited the demo, and we made I Need a Beat.
Okay.
And then we made I Need a Beat, and, you know, that song just kind of, they decided, because what was happening was Def Jam Productions was having problems collecting their money from Party Time Streetwise, the label.
Right.
That they were being distributed by, right?
Was that owned by Arthur Baker?
I don't know.
Okay.
But that was what Tila Rocket's Yours was Def Jam Productions. It was on Street Time. It was on Party Time Streetwise. That was the label. And so
the same label that brought us New Edition's Candy Girl.
And so they were having problems collecting the dough, so they ended up making Def Jam independent or turning Def Jam into a label because it was a production company. Then it became a record label with no distribution. And we made I Need a Beat. And then we made another song. I made my first couple of songs with no contract.
Okay.
Because I didn't want like nothing was stopping me. Like we'll get to that.
But what is a label without distribution though? I mean,
It's called pressing up the records and putting them out. We sold.
Okay, so in '85, how
84. This was 84.
So in '84, if I'm a budding young artist and I want to put out my own joint, how much is that going to run me?
It's damn near impossible. It was just like it was almost impossible because there are too many other hoops to climb through at that time. There was no. First of all, you got to remember there was no access to information. You don't even have the access to the information to know how to go about figuring out how to make a record. Like then you talk about
they know,
Well,
or are you their guinea pig?
They knew. They knew to a certain extent because remember, Russell had been dealing with Curtis. He managed. He hadn't had any,
Right.
Stuff, but he had managed his groups, running them. Had I think maybe one album at that point.
Right.
They had one album.
Okay.
And then so they knew, but I was a guinea pig in the sense of being the first artist on the label for sure.
Right.
Like they never had ran a label like that before. We didn't. Nobody knew. What we would,
But I'm just saying in terms of like knowing that, so there's 4 stores in Philly that I need to put this in. Armand's.
Oh
down the
yeah.
market
No, they
and-
did a good job with that. We did a good job. I mean, I Need a Beat came out, and we ended up selling 50, 100,000 records independently, and then we put Dangerous out, and repeat sold a little less, but did okay. And then
But creatively, when you're making these songs, how? Okay, so like now, of course, it's like, yo, play me a beat tape or whatever. Explain the process of how you and Rick are creating these songs. Like, is he just like making a beat and you're like, I like that part and not that part?
it's exactly what it is. It was, pretty much through all of my music. But with Rick, what we would do is I would give him the basics of what I wanted to do, like the foundation, rather,
Right.
of what I wanted to do. I'd say, I want a beat like this. I would hum a beat or mouth a beat,
Right.
or something like that, right?
Okay.
He would take that as the foundation. Then I would rhyme to it. I would, if I had, most of the time I had rhymes already written. Sometimes I would write to it. You know what I'm saying? I'd write to it. I do that. Then Rick would go in the studio by himself and play with a lot of different overdub ideas. He would go in and put surprises on it. He'd find guitar bits.
Right.
He'd find horns. He'd play stuff for me. I'd be like, I don't know about that part. I like that part. And he'd be like, okay, well, what do you think about this part? I say, I like the. And he would go back.
So it was
And then-
really a collaboration.
It was very
And
much a
You
collaboration.
talked about that when you gave your speech.
Yeah.
When you got your, I think it was the Lifetime Achievement Award. Or it was the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. When you
Right.
got inducted. And you talked about like collaboration, how
Definitely.
when you work with your producers. I
Oh,
thought that
definitely.
was really big.
All of them, always, because, we change each other when we work together, right? So it's not just add water. But I like to leave room for the producer to do what they do. I'm not a believer in bullying producers. A lot of people, as they get established, they put more and more pressure on the producers and they bully the producers into a corner where they can't be free to create. And I learned early on working with Rick to just let the producer do what they do and give them an opportunity and then see what it is and then work from that space. You know what I mean? So I always approached it from a place of humility when it comes to creating.
Well, let me. All right. So the thing that I really want to know is, and notwithstanding, and I mentioned at the top that yes, okay, so Full Force comes in and does something unprecedented before, and they turn like the 9-minute song, the 10-minute song into like a 4-minute song. So who knew between the two of you the art of editing? Because even on the album credits,
Right.
it says reduced by Rick Rubin.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, like, was it weird to you writing just 16 bars and now you got to have a hook and another 16 bars? Because, you know, before you, rappers just rap for forever.
Right. It wasn't weird to me because I loved Rick James, and I loved, you know, Michael Jackson and Lionel Richie and the Commodores and the OJs, and all of them had choruses and all of them had songs, and it was arrangements. So I was very comfortable with the idea of making songs, you know, and I knew the difference between, you know, I knew what I was doing. I was very conscious when I would do a song that was a song, or when I just be doing a thing where I'm rhyming, and I always understood the difference. It's like, go ahead.
But without the standard of knowing, like, oh, I need a hook so this audience gets me, or
You follow the light. You follow the light. You know what I'm saying? You just get out of the way and follow the light. So, you know, when you're making music and when you're creating something, you know, everything is it's science and art, right? It's art and science. And there's soul and science, right? And you have to remember both. And there's a time to get out of the way. There's a time for science, and then there's a time to just follow the light. And so, you know, with a lot of those songs, it just felt like, that's right, that's it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I mean, even years later, I mean, Rick Rubin was like, you know, he was ready to jump off a roof about I Need Love. You know?
Really?
But yeah, but I wanted to follow the light. You like it that much? Put it out first. He hated it. He thought it was crazy.
What did he hate? What did he hate?
Well, it's a very soft record. I mean,
Right,
it
I knew that.
emotional. It's vulnerable. It's like the exact opposite. It's the antithesis of Rock the Bells. It's the antithesis of some of the other songs I had done. So it was very different, you know. But my thing was range and doing different stuff and following the light and trusting that.
But the thing was, like, we really weren't stopped because you did I Can Give You More and I Want You, which were leaning towards that.
Yeah, it's the execution though. It's not just the idea, it's the execution. So the execution was a lot more romantic, a lot softer, a lot more gentle. I Could Give You More.
Right.
It was
a
still
beat behind it,
You know what I
right.
mean? I Want You. Because I Want You originally was over In Between the Sheets.
Oh wow. Okay.
You were thinking of sampling back
Yeah,
then?
yeah. I wrote that to In Between the Sheets.
Shit. Okay. Okay.
You know, and if you listen to it, if you put I Want You vocals over In Between the Sheets,
Right.
it would have been like, that would have been crazy.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
Yeah.
So what was the revelations after you put out, like after the success of I Need Love? I'm so curious about everybody else's revelation because you already knew.
How did Def Jam feel when they first heard it?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, it wasn't great.
You had to sell it on
Word?
them?
were there
Because I
women
thought like
in the
Russell,
room?
if
that's the
anybody
song, that's
would
the
have, yeah.
song.
Were there women in the room?
It just was like, you know, context is everything, right?
Okay.
So it's kind of like, you know, it's like, I don't know, like, it's like seeing a basketball player after they've been wearing them tighty whities forever, and then the basketball
With the
player
baggy
walks out with the
shorts.
long shorts. It's like,
That
yeah,
is
what's
crazy.
that? You know, so it was just like very new. It was just new. It
Even
was
with
a
the
new
ladies
thought.
in the room, nobody broke faith.
Come on, you know, besides Faith Newman, there was no women in
I
the
didn't
room.
know
Well, at
Lisa
that time, I don't
was
even know if
around
Faith
and-
was there yet.
yeah.
I don't even think Faith was there yet.
So-
It was more like Heidi Smith, the
Okay.
secretary.
Yeah, that don't-
You know what I'm saying? Like the receptionist.
Right.
You know,
She wouldn't tell
they
you.
were growing. We were still very new at that point because that was like I was only one album in,
Right.
and Rick and Russell were going through some things. But
But radio must have been radio then, not the song, but actual radio that made I Need.
oh no, it exploded. It exploded.
radio. Yeah.
Exploded.
Look,
exploded.
that was one of the first rap songs I remember hearing on
yeah,
the radio.
no, exploded.
That was one of the first rap songs I plagiarized.
Yeah, it exploded.
To a girl acting like you was
Oh,
writing
mother,
her.
yo, check it. So the way that records,
That's hilarious.
the way that record, no, yes to all
I
that.
know.
The way that records work is that you would have to put it out 3 months ahead of time. All right, is Cut Creator's real name Brian?
Yeah, J. Brian Philpott.
All right, so I went to school with Cut Creator's cousin.
Okay.
So he would always come in with almost damn near demo quality stuff.
Right.
So I heard like you can't dance. I heard like all this stuff on. He bringing a cassette, whatever. He was like the popular kid at school. So he had a copy of Bigger and Deffer, and I begged him. I gave him $5 to dub the joint for me. And when I heard I Need Love, I was like, yo, man.
When I'm alone in my room. Oh my
Yo,
God.
for real.
hilarious.
I plagiarized the whole first verse.
Funny.
Gave it to Tamika Reed.
Tamika Reed.
It was all good
Shout out
until
to
that
Tamika
joint. Until that joint was #1 on Power 99 for like months.
That's hilarious.
But for them first 2 months, boy,
Yeah.
I was the man.
Man,
I was
now,
the man.
it's just surprising me that record that they didn't get it because, especially like with Russell, because what he was doing with well, I think OBR. I don't know if that was around the time that seemed to be along in his wheelhouse of like the kind of R&B.
What's
know,
OBR?
Original black recordings, but that was like with Blue Magic.
I got you. Yeah,
Was that-
yeah,
was
no.
that a little
That was
after?
later.
87,
That was later.
88.
That was
Yeah, it was
later.
later.
That was later. That's when he got Rush Associated labels and all that.
Yeah, Orange Juice Jones and all that.
Yeah, that was later.
Yeah,
That
I
was
thought that
later.
would have been right down his lane though. It seemed
Yeah,
like a
I mean,
layup.
he was with it. Russell was with it. But like you'd be surprised, man, like how many songs I have like that. Like there are a lot of songs. Around the Way Girl, they wanted to give up on.
Wait,
Because-
what?
Yeah, because it was slow at radios. Radio was like resisting it because it was new. Doing it, they didn't want to. They was unsure about.
Did they like Brenda's got a big old butt? Though?
Yeah, they like
See
that.
what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
you know what I mean? Yeah, they like that. Yeah, they did actually. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it was.
That is crazy to me because, like, I would think as an A&R,
There were no A&R.
who I was gonna say, were you your own A&R?
Yeah, there was no A&R. You got to remember, at that time in hip hop, there were no managers. I mean, Russell was the only guy that was even in that space, and that he got in that space later. So when I first started, there were really no managers. He was a promoter. There was no A&R. There was no industry. Yeah, there was no hip hop industry. So they, it's a completely different type of mindset. Nobody knows anything.
Everything is a
See
first.
now, now it's like everybody can kind of come off like a genius,
Right.
Because they know they got all this Monday morning quarterbacking and everybody's a mogul and all this.
You got 50 years of history
bro.
to
There's
read
no,
over.
there was
Yeah.
no industry.
Yeah.
So it's like no America. It's just like you know what I mean. It's just like woods. It's very different. Like at that point.
Yeah.
Now we're like infrastructure.
Yeah.
Starbucks.
You just
No
saying
roads, no
calling up
bridges.
Rick Rubin was that's not a thing no more. Like just
No.
calling up your favorite producer or somebody.
Well, it wasn't. Yeah. No, it's not. It was. He wasn't even known like that. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't. He wasn't like. You know what I'm saying? Like he wasn't known. It was. He had one song with Tila Rock.
This is a question I've been dying
Sounds crazy.
to know. Okay, so it was '85, and Rick Rubin's your producer.
Right.
A year later, Rick Rubin's going to helm the Raising Hell record.
Right.
So, all right, just for my satisfaction, at any point while making the song Rock the Bells, did you ever think to use Bob James's Take Me to the Mardi Gras
Well,
with
I'm
actual bells on it?
So, I mean, that's really. I've kind of got into this before with the story, but the reality is that was what the song
didn't
was.
know. Okay.
Yeah. No, it was Take Me to the Mardi Gras. I wrote it to that, and me and Rick planned on doing it, and then Rick did Peter Piper. Wow. And I'm like, yo, Rick.
So why didn't you win the tug of war match between Peter
Because
Piper?
Run-DMC had a gold album. They were coming off of two albums. Yeah. 2 albums at that point, right? Like maybe, yeah.
Yeah,
that was 2 albums.
and it was just a no to.
No, it was no. What it was it's like it's kind of hard to like look. Jay is from my neighborhood. Like running them are from my neighborhood. We all know Take Me to the Mardi Gras. I can't really argue that like they don't know what it is. I just had plans for it, and when Rick, I guess decided to do that with them, and one thing led to another, and they ended up with Peter Piper. But that's why I made 2 Rock the Bells because that's why I made the original. And didn't like it because it wasn't what I wanted, and then made the second one because I was
So
trying
the original
to.
was the B-side.
The original was never going to happen because I was going to do it to Mardi Gras.
Right, I got it.
So once I didn't do it to Mardi Gras, I went in and we had to figure out another one. I did original. I didn't like it.
Okay.
And I was like, this ain't good enough because I wanted Mardi Gras. So then we made another song, the second one that everybody cuts up.
How long did it take you to finally settle on the Trouble Funk Go-Go version?
It didn't take long. It kind of came together. God had other plans.
Okay.
It came together well. It came together. It was all good. You know what I'm saying?
DC was happy.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I love it.
DC,
Well, first of
yeah.
all, listen. I was just talking to somebody about that the other day. I love Go-Go.
Listen.
Like when when Chuck Brown and the Soul Searchers did I'm Bad Over, I was like, yo, that was crazy. I love EU, you know, Junkyard, you know what I'm saying? Like Chuck Brown, all of them. Like I love the go-go scene. So that was always influencing a lot of what we did too, you know what I'm saying, rhythmically.
So, okay, you, in all the firsts that I mentioned, you know, I'll also say that what's different about your success is that unlike other pioneers, Sam Cooke, Ray Charles, James Brown, who kind of had to watch the alternative versions of themselves blow up, i.e. the Elvis syndrome, where like you really became like the first solo teen idol. I mean, you just got to experience stuff that neither Spoonie nor Curtis Blow and them got. So in '85, as this thing is clearly going to be like important, what is stardom on that level like that none of your peers in hip hop are experienced? Maybe an occasional Run-DMC will know it, but I think it's different when you're singular. So what is that like? Because I know by this point, because the thing is, like, you have a cool factor, a danger, you know, I think rappers, a danger factor, a cool factor, and all these things.
And sex symbol. Which
and all that stuff. Yeah. So I know that people are trying to, in succubus manner, like just pull from your energy. And so, hey, come hang with us. Come party with us. You wanted to? What is it like in '85 doing what I would consider the most, not debaucherous, but that period of
a lot
stardom.
of debauchery. So you know, it was two things. It was like when I'm on tour and I'm on the road, like, you know, if I go to a sneaker store, it's like crowds of kids outside, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, banging on the limo and chasing the limo and all of that.
How long did it take for you to like, oh, I can't be normal anymore?
Oh, no, '85, that was pretty much beginning. Yeah.
Or are you,
and then
do
in
you walk
87,
outside
it
with
just went
nothing
crazy.
on, like no hat, no glasses?
It doesn't matter.
And they know it's you?
They know it's me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was
Okay.
Yeah. So they knew. And so it was that. And then, you know, the other side was, you know, just I was in Harlem a lot when I was home, hanging out with, you know, all the guys that ultimately became the Paid in Full movie. So you know, it was like when I was in
you knew those dudes.
Oh no, that was who I hung out with every day. I hung out with, you know, my man Chuck and Rich and Alpo and AZ, and you know, that was who that was where I kind of formulated my as a young man. You know, those are the guys that were around me. They kind of like took me in, and I had, you know, I got Rock the Bells out, and I'm running around in Harlem with them all the time whenever I'm home, and then I go on the road and do my shows and stuff like that. So I was, you know, and that's where, you know, so I started getting the big Cool J rings and the ice and the jewelry and the furs and the minks and all the cars and the Benzes and all that. I was bringing all of that hustler stuff to hip hop because that's who I was hanging out with.
So that was more Harlem. You were more Harlem home based than
at
your
that
own
point.
Queen.
Yeah, I'm always Queens forever. I'm a always be a Queens guy. Queens by all means. That being said, I did hang a lot. You know, I formulated a lot of my, you know, that energy. I learned a lot in Harlem.
Okay,
about
so
hustling and.
So when Queens is going through their first, you know, for an outsider like me, hearing the Shan versus BDP war thing, like. Which now I clearly understand what's happening. You know, Shan's like, I didn't say that hip-hop started in Queens or whatever. But do you feel some sort of way on the sidelines watching someone kind of go at Queens when Queens had nothing to do with the battle or whatever? Like, did you feel at any point like, let me step in and...
No, because, you know, to be honest with you, you know, especially, you know, the mindset I had back then, he was smart to put my name in it and be complimentary on South Bronx.
Fuck! Yeah. I totally forgot. I said it, trying to take. I didn't even think about that part.
So he, you know, that was smart. You know, especially the way I was built, my mindset. Like it was best that was the right approach. That kept me.
So you did sort of feel like, hey,
yeah, but I was cool because, you know, instead of trying to take out else, I was like, okay.
Whoa. Now that I mentioned it, I totally forgot. Did you pay attention at all to the Shan thing at all?
Oh yeah, of course. Of course.
Were you ready to respond to that?
No.
Okay.
No, because I didn't feel, you know, I didn't feel disrespected. Like, you just talking, you know.
For the record, we never, Lady B never played that song in Philly, so I didn't know about.
Oh, you mean with Shan when he went at me?
Right.
Oh, no, I didn't care about that, man. I thought it was funny.
Really?
I mean, I'm in the limo. You know, come on. Oh, champagne popping. Beat biter. Like, it was hilarious. Like,
All right.
I'm laughing at this shit. Like, you know, at that time, come on, be like, beat biter. Okay.
Besides,
I like the pattern, though. You know what I mean? Okay.
But besides, you know, like the folklore of Busy Bee and Moe Dee, like beef really wasn't a thing besides like the Roxanne Wars.
Yeah.
But with you, it's like,
yeah,
obviously there's something in you that makes people want to like, okay, he's at the top of the pile, so let me try and take him out.
Yeah.
Like how did that feel? Like did you have by that point, did you have not a crew, but I just mean like your native tongues, like, okay.
Well, no, because like I told you, I was
Jalil on Ecstasy or that.
Nah, I had my dude. Like I told you, who I hung out with. So that was my mindset. So if anything, it was more like, you know, just making sure that I'm protecting my territory.
Okay.
That's the way I looked at it. Like, I'm just not gonna let nobody step on my toes. You know, it's all good, but if you say something about me, I gotta, you know, you gotta get this because I gotta protect my territory. That's the way I looked at it. It's very simple.
Now with Ice-T, I know the history of it, but what was, I never knew how the Moe Dee thing you started.
Well, the Moe thing, look, first of all, I love him, right? Like,
Right.
Silver Fox took me down to a studio one time. He was down there. I started rhyming in the studio. He was doing a session or something. I think actually, I wasn't. I was actually, scratch that. I went to his session and we were watching, and he kicked me and Silver Fox out the studio. He didn't want us in there and all that, and you know.
Oh,
you
okay.
know, so, you know, but I still never said nothing. You know what I mean? That was on him, and then he just decided I'm bigger and better and all this. You know, and forget about that. Put the Kango under the tie. I'm like, come on, man. You know, and that's when I just started doing, you know, going back and forth with him. You know
But
what I'm
who's like in your ear? Because even then,
saying? Who's in my ear?
I heard your response after the fact.
Yeah.
But like again, like who's in your head? Because
I didn't nobody. I didn't need nobody to tell me that. It's kind of like, you know, it's like, you know, there's some people, you know, like they're just built to like, they'll hide in the bushes and wait for you and nobody got to tell them to. Some people are built like that. Everybody don't need to be told stuff. Like I've never been a guy that, I don't need you to tell me nothing. Like I'm paying attention. So it's like,
But
you
that
know.
makes you a different animal because I'm
I
saying
promise
that, but then the reason why I'm asking you this, because
Right.
I think it's amazing. Well, for starters, you know, when we talked about this briefly on the tour, that, you know, because I too was wondering, well, how's this Ice-T thing going to work? Like, you know, but then I realized like, wow, that's crazy. Like LL has amicable relationships with everyone. Clearly it was a sport.
Oh, definitely. I never, ever, ever.
But we also come from a culture in which blood has been easily shed without even thinking about it.
So let me tell you, I can explain that to you. So one thing I learned, right, and this is the honest to God truth. By me hanging out with gangsters so much as a youngster, I learned that the last thing you want to do is walk around trying to be tough. That's how you get yourself in trouble. Trying to be a tough guy.
Okay.
So what does that mean? That means that, now mind you, if somebody tries to do something to you, that's a different conversation. We're not talking about that. But I'm talking about the wandering around with your chest poked out. That's how you get yourself in trouble. So when I see Mo, or when I see, I'm not beefing. It's what it is. Okay, you said that. That's where we're gonna leave it at. And we're gonna leave, you know what I mean? Like, it's not, I don't have to get, it doesn't have to go further than that. Because I'm confident in my skill set on the mic to handle this.
Okay.
That's how I felt. And I didn't see any reason to try to, you know what I mean? Go further than that.
Yeah.
Plus, because why? I'm not going to test you as a man. I don't need to do that. I don't need to try to test Ice-T as a man or test Moe Dee as a man or put them in a position where we got to go further, because then that's kind of would speak to my weakness. It's more about like, yo, this is what you said. Okay, so we're going to settle it like this. That's where you want it. Now, I mean, you know,
Man,
and I wouldn't go no further.
if everyone else has followed suit,
But
You
like,
know what I'm saying?
but fast
And I think-
forward
oh,
30,
wait, no.
30 I'm sorry, Ponte,
No,
but
go ahead.
fast forward 30 or more years, seeing him on that F.O.R.C.E tour
Of
in
course.
the Forum, that was a moment. And also realizing that y'all have been these men who you are today longer than anything before being famous. So
Yeah.
it's I'm so curious, like in that moment, I know y'all greeted each other backstage and everything, but did y'all have a moment of like, damn, first of all, hip hop built this, and second of all, brother.
Yeah, I said, listen, man, do what you do, man. I told him, like, yo, Ice, get out there, do what you do. Remember? I'm like, yo, do it.
You wanted him to diss you. I'm like,
I'm like, this one.
He did a little something. He said a little something.
and Ice came to me like, yo, man, I don't want to do that. Like, you know, I'm a dad now. And
But it's also weird watching him because he's too older to most people in real life anyway. So seeing him do those songs is also kind of like.
But I loved it. Like, my thing is like, yo, it was like, that's why I still did I Shot You. I still said Crutch, Moe Dee, Hammer, and Ice-T's
Ice-T
Curl.
Hell yeah.
I love Hammer. That's my man. I love Ice. I love Mo, but I'm going to still do the songs. Like, I'm not going to, like, I don't, look, respectfully, like you always got to ask yourself this question. If you did then what you're doing now, would you be here now? I'm not changing that. I'm not going to be editing my songs and pretending that the song was something different because I've gone to a different stage in life. I'm not doing that. You know what I'm
Christian
saying?
Prince.
I'm doing the song.
Right.
I'm doing the song. This is the song.
Nah, man, I was
You
so
know what I'm
happy.
saying?
Nah, I was so happy to see you at the show because first of all, that was my first time ever seeing you live.
Yeah.
And so I was so happy to see you do Jack the Ripper. I knew you was gonna do the hits. I was like, okay, I know we're gonna get them bad. I know we're gonna get knock you out. Mama said knock you out. But bro, Jack the Ripper, Mr. Goodbar.
Yeah.
I was like,
See?
yo.
Who said C? Who
I was
said
like,
C?
oh,
no, it's just.
we did Candy. I was like, oh, like that was for us. That
I
was
told
like
him
for
his
him.
filler is just as important as the hit joint.
Nah.
You said it.
Amir?
You said it.
Nah, bro, nah, straight
Well,
up.
also shout out to the Z-Trip also.
Yeah, but you did say it. You guys both said it.
It was
You
important. It was important
said it.
to do both. All right, so what I want to know is, oh God, we're still in '87. How did you meet the LA Posse?
Right.
And why didn't Rick produce the second album?
So Rick and Russell got into a beef over, I don't know what it was about. Whatever it was, they started having tension in their relationship. Rick was angry, and, somehow they separated, and Rick didn't want to produce it because of that reason. So it was political. It had nothing to do with me. Mind you, we later
Did
on.
you want to
Cap-
work with him?
Of
or-
course,
Okay.
absolutely. I mean, it was a comfort zone at that point, and
Right.
we had just had this platinum album. Like everything was great, but politics. So it was time for the second album, and the LA Posse were working on records with another artist, and the records was sounding like they were trying to make LL sounding songs. It sounded like they were making LL sounding songs to
Right.
Russell.
Okay.
So Russell told me to get with them. And so I got with them, and we started talking and vibing, and, we were all, they was just some dudes from California, which I loved.
Yeah. Now, how strange of an adjustment was that?
It wasn't strange at all because, my father had moved out to Cali, and I had, when I was 14, you know what I'm saying, I had been out there already with my pops a little bit.
Okay.
And so, getting with Bobcat and getting with Muffler and getting with all of those guys in California, I loved it. And they would take me down in the hood and all that. And, Bobcat would have me down there over the set, all this crazy.
Word.
Oh, man. It was the wild out. So, I loved Cali. So that's why I have such great relationships and friendships in California and so much love out there. So my second album, this is 87, I made I'm Bad, I Need Love, all them songs with Cali producers. So I was already kind of with like getting outside of the box. It was about the music for me. It wasn't about where you're from, because I felt like I was gonna write the songs and bring to it what I needed to bring to it. You know what I mean? So that was the vibe. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
And we ended up, so that's when you had K-Day and Greg Mack and World on Wheels and
Did you live out there or you just recorded
no,
out there?
actually I brought them to Queens.
Okay.
And they lived across the street from my grandmother's house. I got them a room, and then
what?
I got them a room, and the lady across the street from me, her house in the basement. So they was living across the street.
Okay, you got to answer this one question for me. A lot of questions for me. What is a recording budget for now? Okay, so Paz, he has not come on the show yet. So Paz told me on tour that 3 Feet High and Rising was made for 14. No. 3 Feet High and Rising was made for 21,000 to save money because Paz told me that a Q-Tip verse got erased from Afro Connections at a high 5.
Oh wow!
Because Paul was trying to save 2-inch tape. So he told me De La Soul's Dead cost $14,000. What was a budget for a record back then?
Well, it varied. So, I mean, around that second album, I don't know, maybe somewhere between 150 and 250.
Okay.
Somewhere around there.
Which seemed like it was fair for then, correct?
It was crazy. I mean,
Okay.
You get a Benz for 30 G's. Man.
Okay,
It was 40
okay.
G's. It was crazy. It was
All right.
you rocking. Like you are out of control with that. Like sky's the limit, baby. Woo, we in here now.
Do you still own your grandmother's house?
Yeah.
So
I do.
What is it about that environment? Because I believe that you said that you always write your best when you're in that environment.
So my uncle told me there was some magic there. You know what I'm saying? And I believed him. And so, I just believe if you're gonna write songs for people, you have to be able to relate to the people. And even nowadays, jumping in and out of Uber Blacks and town cars or being fancy, you're not connecting with the world. And the thing that you lose
Shut up, all of y'all. Why all y'all motherfuckers looking at me?
I was thinking about LL, literally. I'm like, he's right. He's like, him
Yeah,
and
but I
Magic
felt
and
like-
Sam, they be out. Like,
I felt-
You know what I mean?
That shit is
That's
hard.
about you,
That's your
not
inner
about
guilt.
us.
I feel
Like,
about
That's
him.
I have no guilt whatsoever.
That is
I've been
you,
doing this for
sir.
40
I have
years,
no guilt
goddammit.
That is
whatsoever.
not
Always trying
us.
to
I
bust your
just
bubble.
got that
Say
Maybach. Go ahead.
So you got to be able. It's a nice car too, by the way. Very nice, very nice. I was like, yo, I got to get one of them. That was very nice.
All right, L, go ahead, man.
Very nice
And now he
Maybach.
got 10.
Quest got a very nice Maybach. That shit
his
is
Maybach
nice.
is nice.
Mean. That's just mean.
So we'll stop.
that's
Go
about
ahead.
us.
I
Let
tried
him
to
cook.
ride
Let him
once.
cook.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Let him cook. So I'm like, yo. But I just feel like you got to connect with the people, and the thing you lose sight of is danger, and danger makes you write differently.
Wait, did I hear a rumor that you once entertained the thought of writing at Rikers or some shit? Like,
Well, I visited the jails
yeah.
a lot. I visited the jails a lot. I did. I visited the jails quite a
but
few
did I
times.
imagine that you actually said, like, I got to see
No,
it?
I would visit the jail and then go to the studio.
Okay.
Yeah, I did that.
Were you
I
visiting
did
somebody, or
that.
you
I
just
did that during the
visited-
GOAT album, actually.
You visited
Oh.
like the folks there, or you visited somebody personally?
Both. I knew guys in there I didn't know was in there.
And not
You
just
know?
right, like,
What you doing here?
and not just right
What up?
this. Just right this, because like that
You know?
Jersey, you know.
Yeah, I went up north right now. I probably know half the dudes in that joint. Like, you? What are you doing here? I knew I ain't seen you in a while.
3 decades after, or 3 decades plus after the fact, do you find, okay, so I understand that some might see, and I'm not one of these people, as evidence of how many songs I'm trying to throw from Panther in the set,
Right?
that people's relationship with Panther is different after the fact that it came out, because
Yeah, I think.
I don't know. Even on the way here to the thing, I was like, why is Panther my favorite record? It might be more the cinema. Like, first of all, like, you released it in June. Like, I just graduated high school. So,
Yeah.
like, my memories are associated with, like, what I was listening to when I graduated and all that stuff. So I have a special place in my heart for that record.
Mm-hmm.
But for you, I know that, and I'm only asking this because Lyte told me the story about your involvement with self-destruction.
Oh, yeah.
And I didn't realize that you wrote Lyte's verse, and
Mm-hmm.
he told D Nice, like, look, not for nothing, but when I come back, I got to come back on something.
Yeah.
So you, like, can you tell the self-destruction
Yeah,
story?
self-destruction. So basically, they asked me to be a part of the song, and at that time, I just didn't want to do it. I just didn't feel like that was the right way for me to reintroduce myself to everybody coming off of this record that had been kind of, panned and people sleeping on me and all that. But at the same time, I wanted to make a contribution of some sort. So I wrote MC Lyte's part, Scotch tape with a razor blade taped to your collar and all that. Yeah. So I did that for Lyte. And, I felt great. you know, people didn't know, and I was cool with that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've done that a lot. You know what I'm saying?
The self-destruction joint, that made me think the Heal record, the
Human
terrorism,
Education Against Lies.
Why weren't you in the video for that?
No, one of those records, I was busy, and then, you know, man, my schedule back then, you know, was different from most rappers.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I was on a different level.
Yeah, you was selling
you.
records. Yeah.
So I was on a different level. So I just was busy,
Yeah.
and I just couldn't do some things, and I would say no to other things. And you know, I'm unapologetic about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is what it is, bro. Like, I did it many times. You know, EPMD.
I'm late to the party.
Yeah.
Like 2 years ago, someone's like, you know, that's not LL in
No, it is.
the Rampage.
Yes, it is.
That's you?
That's absolutely me in the video. Absolutely.
Then
Listen, the real story is that, you know, at that time, I think I was in contract negotiations. I was midway through it. My father, who was my manager at that time, just absolutely did not want me in that video and just drove me absolutely bananas. And I said, well, we got to figure something out. So, you know, I finally just said, you know what, let's just put a silhouette there. I do it for a silhouette because I can't play these guys like that.
Right.
And so I did it with the silhouette. You know what I'm saying? So that was my way of doing something for
the
them.
compromise. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? That was my way of doing something for them because my pops was driving me bananas. And
Yeah, what was that like having him as your manager, bro?
my father was, you know, he was funny, man. He was funny. He was something else. He was something else. Because remember, he had his own label. Before that, he had, you know, he
had a label?
Yeah, my father, you know, had a label, Salsa Picante, and records, and you know, he used to, you know, work with, you know, different artists like the Coasters and different people. And he was my father was a singer.
Dude, your lineage.
Soul singer. Yeah, he was a soul singer.
Okay.
And so he was, you know what I'm saying? And so, you know, but he was funny, man. You gonna get this kid his money. He pulling out knives on the record company, all type of shit. He was bananas. Yo, Pops was
Sounds like my
bananas.
dad.
I loved him. May he rest in peace, man. He was something else, man. He was he was a piece of work.
Was he managing you until he couldn't anymore?
Yeah, he managed me until it got over his head. It just honestly,
Till, like TV, film.
It just, to be honest with you, to give you the real honest answer, the career and the money that was the stuff that came, it got beyond his ability to handle. You know what I'm saying? And it's, you know.
I get it.
You know, I got to pay my taxes. You know,
I get it.
You know, my taxes got to be paid. Man. Like we could talk about all that tough guy shit, stocks and equity. All.
Yeah.
Did you pay your taxes?
Yeah.
Like let's start there.
All right.
You know what I mean? So I got to pay my taxes.
So many times.
Yeah, I got to pay my taxes. So I was like, yo, you know, I start getting little calls like, how much? What? I'm asking him, and he's like, "Oh, don't worry about it."
Oh, my bad.
Like,
I think we need to worry about
I'm seeing wine
that.
from Trader Joe's on the corporate card. I'm like, "Yo, come on, man, this is getting ridiculous." Bananas. It ain't that big of a deal, but it was just like, "Come on, man."
I feel you.
know.
I feel you. So
Yeah, I love him.
also,
Though. I love him. He was a good guy.
so also early, with Wildcats and with toys or whatever.
Right.
You're one of the first people in the hip hop lane to start pivoting to other mediums,
Right.
acting.
Yeah.
How easy or hard was it to convince you? Because I've literally met nobody in our industry that it wasn't a struggle. Me too. I had to be talked and almost at gunpoint to direct this film. I don't want to do it.
Right.
How easy was it for you to get into that lane?
You know what? You know what's funny, man? I had no problems on it. No problems with it. You know, as long as it didn't do anything that was gonna undermine what I was doing, you know, in music. You know what I'm saying? As long as it didn't undermine that, I was cool. Because I just, you know, I always believed, like, my mother used to always tell me you could do anything you put your mind to. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So it's like, for me, and I used to, you know, watch Bruce Lee and dream about having movies, and me and my man Pierre he'd have the what was it, the 34 millimeter or the 16 the cameras, the 16 millimeter cameras, and we'd be making kung fu movies and all that. So I was with it. I wanted to smoke. I wanted all the smoke. I want to make movies. I want to do it all. Okay. Like I just, you know, I'm you know.
How easy was the transition to do, though? Did you have to get an acting coach?
I definitely studied. I definitely have had many acting coaches. I went to the Spies Academy. You know, I work with a lot of acting coaches. Greta Seacat, Winnie Hiller, my current coach. I trained and studied. Stanislavski and and Uta Hagen and
Really?
yeah.
All that technique.
Oh yeah,
A lot of technique
Oh
there.
yeah, oh yeah. Of course, 100%. Like
Sharpen your
listen,
tools, 'cause that's what you do.
You have to, and you have to respect the craft, right? Yeah. Like people assume that I just kind of bounce into things, but I watch, I study everything. You know what I'm saying? And I pay attention to the craft.
Was there a role that you passed up that was sort of like, damn, I had first dibs on blah blah blah?
Well, there's a couple. A role I passed up was the Alan Payne role in New Jack City. I passed that up.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah,
you gonna be
passed on
G
that.
Money?
Yeah. I passed on that. And I wanted to do it. My father didn't want me to play a drug dealer.
But then you did.
But then-
Deep.
I was about to say In Too
the
Deep
tongue
was like,
Think about her.
Yeah,
Think
but
about her.
that's my decision. Then I had to, let me
have
do
night-
this.
That's a call classic.
Love
Yeah,
it.
no creative curfews.
You ain't
know
no
what I mean?
cop, Jay Reed.
Yeah, for real, for real.
Yo, straight up, that probably is my favorite movie. Yo,
Thank
that's
you.
my favorite
Thank
role.
you.
Like straight
Thank you.
except for that one scene
Thank you.
with the pool tape. But yes.
Thank you.
up.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh boy.
I got a
Nightmares.
question.
Yeah.
Still.
I got a question, Amir.
Yeah, go ahead.
We have a bit on this show every once in a while, where we talk to people about the Latin quarters in
Right.
New York. And 9 out of 10 times, everybody's story starts with,
I forgot.
one time I was there and LL Cool J did this. And I'm not even making this up. Like every story there, like
Yeah.
you were there.
Yeah, I was at Latin
So I
Quarter
feel
a
like
lot.
you were. Like, I feel. Do you have your favorite Latin Quarter story?
Well,
or is
before we do it,
I know. Hit it.
the most racist theme of all time.
It's not racist. It's
I
just
sound
what it
No,
is.
he just.
I sound like
Thank you.
he's-
LL said it's not racist.
Yeah.
It's not
So it's
racist.
okay.
It's just like
If you
I sound like a
cosplay it
chihuahua.
as a Mexican,
He didn't say what country.
Right. Say what
Just
country.
say
It's just Latin.
the Latin
Nah,
quarter.
that ain't racist.
right? I got you. I got
It's
it.
just Latin. It's
Could be
just
any
No,
quarter.
it's. I totally forgot. You are a hip hop legend that was of age at the Latin Quarter. The only reason why I'm obsessed with the Latin Quarter is because to hear
'Cause we all
everyone tell the story, everyone tells of the best time they've ever musically had in their lives, like listening to hip hop. But it always comes on the B side of like
The fight
a
was
fight
crazy.
and a breakout. I'm like, why would you go to a place where something could possibly happen to you just to hear what top billing sounds like on a speaker system? So like, why risk your life for hip hop? But
It's interesting.
like,
you gonna hear it.
were you ever? Did you ever frequent Latin Quarter or
Always.
whatever?
Yeah.
What was it like in your? Like, what's your take on the Latin Quarter?
I mean, it was dangerous, B. Dangerous, man. Like, I had a dude one time, man, like, he's saying something crazy to me. I'm like, what's up? He's like, yo, what's up? I'm like, what's up? He's like, what's up? I look down at his hand. He got a razor blade in his hand. I'm like, oh, okay, that's what's up.
That's what's up.
That's what's up. I just walked away. That's what's up. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it was that kind of a spot. But then you'd hear like amazing dancing and like, it was like a badge of honor to be able to walk around in there with jewelry on. You know what I'm saying? It was.
So for you, it was never think of a vulnerability, like, yo, man, that I can't go there because like, start with me.
No. You gotta remember, like,
Look who he hanged.
No.
Right.
I was
Like, wasn't it Harlem?
Everybody I ran with it is no.
Yeah.
Oh, you were good.
Oh no,
You were good. You were good.
no, that wasn't the problem. That wasn't my issue. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm saying, but that wasn't my issue. I was good. In New
So
York.
you weren't a roll with yourself person. You were a
Not when I went to certain clubs. Nah, when I went to I would do that sometimes. But really, honestly, I would go downtown with some of them clubs by myself. Like I might go to CBGB's or something, and
Right.
Fishbone is
Right.
performing, or I'm down there like standing there, and they're like they got some punk rock dudes on there. I don't know if it's a Sex Pistol or who it might be, and they be in there performing at CBGB's. I might go there by myself. But when I went to the Latin Quarters, I usually took a couple of dudes with me, depending on who it was. You know what I'm saying? And we was moving around. We was good. Plus, like I said, I was really friendly with all of the guys in the town that were really. I had very few real problems, with guys because I knew how to not be tough. You know what I'm saying? Like how to not be a punk either.
I got you.
You know what I'm saying?
Woo.
So I didn't have like a lot of them problems.
I got
like,
you.
I just didn't, you know what I'm saying?
Can you tell us the story of how you and Marley Marl connected? And
Yeah.
what is the feeling of the perception of being underestimated by that point in your career?
So first, the underestimated piece. The underestimated piece is kind of like, listen, I love a challenge, man. And, I welcome, those moments when people think that I'm not going to be able to do something. It's actually, it inspires me because I secretly relish the opportunity to prove that I'm more than what you think I am. You know what I'm saying? And so that part for me is like, being down in the fourth quarter is like, I just want the ball. Like, I love that. I live for it. You know what I'm saying? That's why it's 30 some odd years later and I'm still out here, we still doing arenas. You know what I'm saying? Because I just relish that, In terms of me, Marley, it was like, I used to go up to BLS at the time and do interviews.
Okay.
And one day I was up there and we was doing something and Marley was like, yo, what's up, man? I'm like, yo, and he, he always had the great stuff and he had kind of, the Juice Crew stuff had just cooled off just enough. So he was kind of like in a little bit of an in-between phase.
Right.
And I was coming off a Panther. And so obviously, I had got booed at the Yusef Hawkins thing and all that down in New York. Because remember, so
that I don't know.
So
what happened?
So you got to remember, so when I came out with that Walking With A Panther, the real issue with Walking With A Panther wasn't, there's some songs on there people don't like, whatever. The real issue was the imagery.
The imagery, yeah.
So at that time, it was about, you had Public Enemy, you had X-Clan, you had KRS, everybody was on that.
period,
And
yeah.
I'm running around with diamonds flooded, minks, champagne, models on the
girls
back,
on the
cell
cover, yeah.
phones, briefcases, cash. I'm going to Cali getting 560 Benzes, getting convertible tops cut. And, so they're looking at me like that was foul, and see, you fast forward 10 years
Now
and everybody was,
Bling,
you know,
bling.
when you fast forward to 97, 98, 99, it was different, right? But at that time, I was the first guy who really did that. So it was frowned upon, right? So that was really the energy. So it felt like I wanted to show them that there was more to it than just the trappings.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Totally.
I wanted to show them there was more to it than the trappings. Like because I really love this. I didn't do it for the trappings. The trappings came, but I did it for the love. And so I got with Marley. Marley was like, yo, what's up, man? Let me get a remix of something. I'm like, let's do it. So
Just that casual?
Yep.
Okay.
Like, yo, let's do a remix. Let me get a remix of something. I said, let's get it. So he said, well, send me the 2-inch. So I gave him Jingling Baby.
Okay.
And when I gave him Jingling Baby, I had been playing with it already, so I had that bass line on there. You know what I'm saying? Because I used to make a lot of my beats.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a type of guy. I made a lot of my beats. You know what I'm saying? People don't realize that. So I had already put that bass line on there, so I sent it to him, and he was like, yo. And when that came in, when I walked in the studio, he had the bass line playing. I was like, oh, word? He's like, yo, how you got this on here? You ain't. So he like chopped it and put some stuff to it. Then he put that Walking on Sunshine in it. And, he said, yo, I want you to redo the vocals, though.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I want you, because you always yelling on your joint, I want you to do it more mellow. I'm like, all right. You know
Which
what I'm saying?
leads to Booming
Booming
System.
System.
All right. Now this is all right. This is something. So every night I would go to Z-Trip, right? And I would say to him, I was like, yo, are you guys, is this all Pro Tools? He's like, what do you mean? And I was like, is LL doing this live or is that Pro Tools? He's like, no, he's live. And I was like, all right, you're protecting him. So about maybe 6 shows later, I went to the Pro Tools guy, right?
Right.
And I said, let me see all the tracks real quick, because this is something. Now, as far as I know, so the thing is that in my mind, Tariq's greatest gift as an MC is his breath control. And when you watch the Hot 97 freestyle, like, you rarely hear a whatever. So, like, Tariq's, he's a communications major in college, and so he does this whole circular breath thing. But I never heard a rapper ever use intonation in concert just like their record.
Yeah.
Like Rakim, who's the king of monotone and all that stuff. Thinking of a master plan. Like, he goes loud. And I was like, wait a minute. So when LL, every night, LL would match note for note, like his vocals on each song, and it was blowing my mind that he wasn't yelling and he was talking monotone and still projecting. So I never, like that to me, you never get enough credit for that. And, you know, I don't even know if that's a thing to celebrate. Like, wow, you sound just like your records. But I've never seen a human being never out of breath, matching their vocals and like that's a hard thing.
A record like Booming System where you kind of are more lowered to do that in an arena. That's tough. Like to keep it low, like because you naturally as an MC, I mean, you're excited.
Right.
You naturally want to go big.
And but what makes Booming System cool is the coolness of it.
Right.
You know, it's
you know how you hear boxers say, "Keep your composure."
Yeah.
You just got to keep your composure. You gotta trust it. You know what I'm saying? The audience know what it is.
Yeah.
But how do you know that? How do you know that and apply that, especially when you live a life and walk a path in which you almost got to justify every step that you're taking and not performatively prove yourself every time. But literally, like since Panther, every LL record's been an event to me because I've always been like, all right, I want to see. Like for me, Panther, I was like, I wonder what LL sounds like over sample production. You know what I mean? Next record was like, oh, I wonder what LL sounds like in 90s production. Like, you know, are they chopping the beat? So it's almost like, even from your biggest supporters, it's like, can he do it again?
Yeah,
can he do it?
I get it.
So,
like I tell you, like even this new record I just finished, right? I just finished this record with Q-Tip.
Right.
And
Really?
yeah.
Chapstick?
Yeah,
I just imagine something thicker. Aquaphor.
Yeah, nah, that's too fancy.
Okay.
I need some cheap. I need something I can get right to it. I want to get right to it.
There are a million people in the world that want to
right
know
to it.
just what happened.
Nah,
why
Just
we
wanna be
never-
fucking
that's
clear.
a big deal.
Why did you
that's
never
too
do a chapstick? Or did they ever reach out to you? Like,
Nah,
White
nah,
people
nah.
don't mess with chapstick.
Yeah.
That's why
that
I'm
was-
looking at him like,
Yeah,
It
I
was a
did
revelatory
chapstick.
moment.
Yeah, I
Everybody
did chapstick for
that was
years, my whole
wild.
life.
Yeah, that was
all that Aquaphor and all that, running around with the shiny lips, like looking like I kissed the chicken grease or
Like,
something.
not
Like
even
I took the chicken grease away.
But you gotta apply that every
like
20 seconds
like
though.
I've been kissing a pot of chicken grease. I ain't doing that.
You gotta apply that joint like every 20 seconds.
Nah, I'm all right. I've been here a while. That's my first application.
That is your first
That's my first application. You know what I mean?
I'm very
Yeah,
shocked.
yeah.
Like,
yeah, I was
chapstick,
waiting.
I've
I was
never-
waiting.
Maybe it's the eczema on my mouth.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
did
yeah.
one of that for years, like my whole life.
Anyway, sorry.
Nah, that was a moment.
No
But
shea butter. No
nobody ever
shea
hit you
butter.
about doing that, like getting your own.
Nah.
That's a no.
Somebody better. You heard it here
Yeah.
first.
Your merch game, I swear to God, that shit would sell out.
Yeah, if you did an
You've
LL
been licking your lips for
chapstick,
free for too damn long.
lip balm, yes.
Yeah,
Right,
LL
right,
lip
right.
balm. Oh man.
I'm sorry, we broke
Yeah,
your whole wisdom.
nah, that's all good.
Damn, I forgot my question. Oh,
He didn't know.
Doesn't matter at
voice
this point.
you know, it doesn't. No, with your intonations and whatnot, like
Right.
with how do you know, like screaming when someone applies force and when someone isn't?
Just listen to it. I just listen to it, and I really listen. I really do the song. Just do the song. B. What's all the? Just do the song.
It's just that I think, but
Right?
You must meditate though, because I think what Amir too is asking is like, and even what Ponte said about just being natural on the stage and being excited.
Yeah.
You have to have a certain still level of control from based on what I'm saying.
You gotta pace yourself.
Well, you have to be. First of all, in terms of cardiovascular, you got to be in shape. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times, a lot of the yelling and a lot of that can be attributed to people just being out of breath. You're not in shape.
That's what I feel.
But I was going to ask, what fountain
saying?
of youth have you drank from? Because you don't seem to age, sir. I mean, like you look the same as you do from hell years
Your
ago.
mouth to God's
Like,
ear.
it's
ain't a lie.
Little melanin don't hurt, bro.
No,
little
but-
melanin in
wouldn't
the
know,
game.
but-
You know how you got a cousin like, yo, this is my cousin. He's 61. He's like, yeah, what happening, baby? What's good? What's good?
But,
Let him cook.
Can
You
we
like,
keep it,
yo, yo.
can we keep it funky though? Like
Yeah.
you don't do. Okay, I'm just gonna start asking. Vitamins, lion's mane, chonga, reishi, like vitamin D. There is
Fonte's
a-
face right now is.
I was like, okay. I was
Those are
listening to
your mushrooms, your healthy mushrooms. You know that, right, Fonte?
I did not. I've never heard of it.
No one knows what you're talking
You
about,
know
but
what
that's
I'm
good.
I take vitamins.
Nah, I don't know what
do
chunga
mushrooms.
and lion's mane is.
Yeah,
Nah, I don't know.
Yeah, and the rhythm to the boogie to be. I didn't.
That's because these fellas know magic mushrooms.
Chapstick.
I'm telling you, healthy mushrooms for your body. Okay, anyway, what is the health situation here? Are you vegetarian, pescatarian? Like, it's
No, I eat meat. Yeah, I eat meat.
64 ounces of
I got
water.
to, I got to have me a porterhouse or something.
Wait,
I got to have it.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
I got to have
This
it, man.
reminds me.
I'm sorry, I'm an animal. I got to have it. I love everybody. I want you to be a vegetarian. I want you to do that. I want you to be a pescatarian. I want you to have herbs and spice. Like, I got to have
But
a burger or
people
something.
should know he gets the best
I got
cuts,
to have
though.
it, man.
But he gets the best cuts.
Sorry, man.
Best cuts
Yeah,
of
well,
meat.
it's
Wait a
lean
minute.
meat. But
This
I got to have
reminds
it.
me. This reminds
I got
me.
to have it, man.
Okay. So
Chicken, man.
This
Gotta have
reminds
it.
me. This reminds me of the very first time I went on my health journey,
Yes.
courtesy of Mark Jenkins, right?
Yes, remember.
So the second time I met LL, and I know you don't remember this. This is like right when the tipping point was out. So this is like 2004. So Jenkins was in LA, working out, training me, and of course, lobby call, and you were passing Gower Street in LA, so it's like, oh, dog, I gotta go to Roscoe's. So
Fair.
right, exactly. I cheat on my trainer. So I went in, right? Now, you worked out with Mark Jenkins before,
100%.
correct? Right.
100%.
So I walked in, and I know Jenkins was in LA working with me, him, and maybe like two others, celebrity clientele. And Mark Jenkins is the guy who his business, when his stock went up when he built D'Angelo for the Untitled video.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm in Roscoe's, and picture the Pink Panthers theme. Turn the left and right, turn the left and right. And literally at the reveal, like, bah! LL walks in. LL walks in. And I jump. And so
I can eat this. You can't.
now the thing is, this is the I've not met LL, so I don't know if he knows what a Questlove is or who a Questlove is, whatever. So right now I'm panicking because I'm like, oh damn.
He gonna tell.
He probably gonna tell.
Mark
so,
Jenkins. Oh.
so I like gave him a pound. I said, well, just coming from a fan standpoint, like, yo, man, I'm mind music. I said, by the way, I said, you know, I'm a client of Mark Jenkins as well, so just, you know, this small cheat there. You know what I'm saying? And he said, don't worry about it, B. Your secret's safe with me.
Worry about it, be your secret safe with me,
His
man.
voice in me.
Oh, dude, the first time I met him, wait, I at least had 5, but the first time I met him, it was the NAACP Awards.
That's
We
hilarious.
were, I think we were doing something for Bono, like a church. You know, Bono just started the Red
yeah.
Company for Africa or whatever.
Oh,
so
wow, yeah.
they gave him an award. So there's like backstage, there's like a 2-second quick change booth. There's 2 of them. Prince is in one of them booths, so it's like you can't get in there or whatever. So they're like, I thought there was a boogie in my nose or maybe a zit. I don't know. Like I saw something there. So I like ran in the room. Now LL's seat is positioned right in front of the mirror.
Oh yeah.
And
He was like, "B, your secret safe with me."
I'm trying to like, you know, I just want a good 10 seconds. Yes, to make sure that everyth's straight, but
Just to
really
get
to
right.
see if I got a boogie or whatever. But LL's not budging. He's just sitting there. And I don't want to be like, sir, can
Yo, that's hilarious.
I get some privacy just so I can pick up my nose? And he was like,
You say, "B, your secret safe with me."
don't worry, you look marvelous, B. No, he was just like, he just looked at me like, don't worry, you look marvelous, B. And I went on stage with that shit on my nose. I just wanted like a
man.
second to pop that joint.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
Wait,
Oh, Jesus.
I wanted to ask you about Chris Lighty, because I had a chance sat down to meet and talk with him before he passed, and he talked about specifically the Mr. Smith album, and for him how that really kind of set him up at Def Jam, and like really people saw him as an executive, and it put him on another level. What was that Mr. Smith album for you and working with him? What was that experience like? Because that was almost like another comeback, quote unquote. You know what I'm saying?
Every album is, for me, most of the time takes on that type of energy. It's because I take so long between records and because I make so few albums that every time it's like, okay, well, what's it gonna be? But that one was an amazing experience working with Chris. I trusted him completely in terms of his creative, his ear. What actually happened was I made a whole album called Mr. Smith. I made a whole album. I didn't like it.
Okay.
So then I threw it away. You know, I do that a lot.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that too.
Yeah, I did this album. I did an original Mr. Smith album with a whole bunch of other songs. It was called Mr. Smith, but I didn't love the album, so I was like, I kept that one song with Shy Skills, that Mr. Smith. You got, but the rest of it I didn't like, so I kept that.
Skills on it. Rest in
Yeah,
peace to him. Yeah, man.
may he rest in peace. So me and Chris, we just started working. He started finding tracks, finding beats, and I ended up getting with Trackmasters, and then getting with Rashad, and you know, it just came together. It came together, and you know, working with them was, you know, he was a good dude, man. And you know, I remember Chris, you know, when he first started, we always got along because you know, Chris used to be security at the tunnel.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So when he was like working the door at the tunnel, he always gave me love, and we always got along very, very well. And you know, I wish he was still here.
Yeah, man. One of my favorite records on that, when you were talking about I Need a Beat and how you pretty much played it live and then rapped over it, it made me think of No Airplay.
No Airplay.
Oh yeah.
We just go straight to that. We just go straight to that. All right, let's do it. Was
Yeah.
that real? Did y'all really just do that shit?
Yeah. That was I think my man, I think Chad might have did that.
Dr.
But
Seuss.
I
Chad
think
Elliott?
so. I think so. I think Chad did that.
That's one of
I
my
think.
favorite.
Not Chad from Crew.
Nah.
Chad Elliott.
Chad Elliott.
Okay.
Yeah.
They used to work with Jodeci and all them a little bit and all that.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I was under the impression that the Trackmasters did the entire record.
They didn't do everything. Rashad did doing it.
Right. Okay.
You know, there was a few other producers, but they finished it. What happened was we actually worked on the album, and I was doing songs, and then Trackmasters came in kind of midway and finished the album. So we didn't start the album together. We finished the album. So they actually made it a cohesive body of work. I have to give Stout some credit and give Tone and Polk credit and give Chris Lighty credit because they came in and helped me kind of finish the project and make it a cohesive, what we felt was at that time a cohesive body of work. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, that's one of like that record, man. Because I mean, the singles are the singles, but like No Airplay, Hollis to Hollywood, like
that was fun. That was fun.
Yeah.
Yo, that's why I'm really excited to for people to hear this record I did with Tip, because this is gonna be
How many songs is it?
How many songs is it?
And which Tip?
So
Q-Tip.
Thank God.
Q-Tip.
Okay.
Yeah, Q-Tip. He produced it. He did everything. He did all the beats. He did everything.
that sounds. Oh, yes.
Yeah, he did
Yes.
everything.
Yeah,
and it's
I've
about
heard
14
it
songs.
I've heard it on good authority.
I think it's 14 songs. 14.
I'm here
dope,
for this.
man.
Yeah, it's 14, and it's all like a whole new thing. So that's gonna be a lot of fun, you know. Yeah.
All right, so good.
Well, I was just going to ask about another person since we're talking about having a happy, sad moment with Chris Lighty. I was going to say the last time I was in a room with you, I was fortunate to be in a room with you, Biz, and Greg Nice as y'all were taping an episode for Sirius. And so I wanted you to give us a fun Biz story, but also talk about why you even tapped Biz to be on your radio station, Rock the Bells.
So Biz, I've known Biz forever, you know, before we made records. And then before Biz made records, he used to just come to my house all the time, come in the basement. I'd be down there writing rhymes. He'd be sitting there. Yo, he used to just make me laugh. He was just the funniest dude in the world to me. I love that dude. You know what I'm saying? I love Biz, man. Like, Biz is my man.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And, you know, we knew each other from Long Island. I would see him here. I would see him there. He would come to Queens. He would come to the house. So in terms of tapping him to be on Salute the Sample and Rock the Bells, I started Rock the Bells because I felt like the artists that I love, like when I look at the way Bob Dylan is treated and held in high regard, and Mick Jagger is held in high regard, and
Talk about it.
you know, these various artists, Paul McCartney is held in high regard. I felt like, you know, the Bismarcks and the Big Daddy Kanes and the Rakims and the Public Enemies and all of them deserve that kind of treatment as well. And I felt like they weren't getting it. And I felt like, you know, MC Lyte wasn't getting it. Queen Latifah wasn't getting it. When I look at, and then when I would listen to the channel, you know, which was Backspin at the time, it was like a glorified jukebox, you know what I'm saying? But it wasn't really about the culture, and it wasn't really about us. We shouldn't have to make excuses for having long storied careers with a lot of success. You should be celebrated for that, not persecuted and penalized for it. And I felt like the industry was turning hip hop into, it was commoditizing hip hop and turning everybody into cardboard boxes. In other words, if it's an old box or older box, you just throw it away, and you just kind of like, they weren't treating the culture the way it needed to be treated. And I wanted to, what I said, you know what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna do for hip hop culture what I did for me in my own career. So all I did was I said, so the mindset that I apply to me that helped me be here by the grace of God for so many years and be successful, I said, I'm going to do that for the whole culture. And so I took Biz and put them on the channel, and Shantae and all of these artists, and got them all, you know, Grandmaster Caz and all of them. And now, you know, I watched this whole renaissance of hip hop happen. You know what I'm saying? When we did Rock the Bells Festival and the cruises and Rock the Bells resorts and all of this stuff.
Congratulations for getting that on MTV.
Thank you. Yeah, we streamed it. The thing about it is that I wanted to do what I did for me for the entire culture, because it can't be about you forever. There has to be more in your life in terms of your journey. You have to want to see others succeed. That's why even when we did the F.O.R.C.E tour, I didn't do the normal headlining thing and like snatch all of the production and make them kind of rap and give them 10 feet of stage. And no, you have the same sound, you have the same lighting package, you have the same opportunities to rock the stage that I do, because I want us all to succeed. And I want to see us treated that way. I want the same way they treat Bono, I want them to treat DMC.
Yeah.
I don't want to see a difference.
Nah, man, I think it was one of the biggest things I saw when I went to the tour. I always admire how just the professionalism, first and foremost. And, you know, I really think it's something that every young artist, like every young MCs, I really think it's something that they should really see, because it very rarely, hearing your story, you know, you were first in like everything. So there was no blueprint to follow. But now we're thankful enough that we have a blueprint. And I'm like, yo, go see L, go see Rock, go see The Roots. This is what it looks like to be 50 years old and still killing it. Like there's still
and
a
not
blueprint in the
cringeworthy.
lane. Right,
Yeah.
and not on some like
Yeah.
okay, but like no, still vibrant, like still jamming.
Yeah, well, that's because hip hop, you know, it was being served in a greasy brown paper bag unless you had a new hit out.
Right.
And I wanted it served on a silver platter regardless. You know, Rakim deserves to have the biggest stage and the biggest platform regardless. When we do the Grammy special, we putting you on the biggest stage regardless.
Yeah.
I don't need to, there's no reason like why they should be treated otherwise. Why would it, you know, like people, like we live in this, it's a strange world, right? Because like I literally have millions and millions of fans all over the world. But because not the majority of them aren't 14, that doesn't make them less valuable.
Right.
So you're like, my fans just had birthdays with me. They didn't disappear.
Right.
You know what I mean? You know. So like, we got to kind of get out of this kind of this state of mind of like, if you're not, you know, if it's not the brand new thing and you've been out 3 years, it doesn't count. That's not how it works.
Not at all.
You know, like when I go, like, I don't know Rolling Stone's discography back front to back, but when they come in town to do a show, I go. I don't know U2's discog back to back, but when they come in town, I go to the show. I love the show. What I'm saying is, yo, people want to see LL Cool J, and they want to see the Beasties, and they want to see Run-DMC, they want to see Public Enemy, they want to see Ice-T. You just got to put them in a position to be seen.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And stop trying to pretend that it's not, they don't want to be seen, because that's just a game. It's not real, because the reality is the fans love it. They want to buy the music. They want to come to the show. And we saw those arenas and we saw those crowds.
Yeah.
And so they're there. And guess what? If we went a second time now, it'd be even bigger.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It would be even bigger. And we did very well, but it would be even bigger because people now see that, yo,
Now they know.
now they know it's real, and like, oh, word, oh, man.
And the regional aspect that y'all add to, when you know, like, you're going to be in
Yeah.
a certain region and they might bring out so-and-so and so-and-so.
course.
Like, I can't wait for y'all to come back to L.A. because I'm
course.
like, shoot, it's about 10 more people.
Of course.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I was really appreciate y'all brought out Petey and Roddy. Y'all brought out Petey.
Absolutely.
That was dope, man.
That's what they brought out in
Yeah, they brought out Petey and
Pablo.
David Banner.
No
These
doubt.
came
No
through.
doubt.
Damn,
Nah.
David like ran in the third tier. Like,
Yeah,
I
he
love
ran
it.
through the crowd and shit.
David Banner.
Beatty and David tore it up. I love it. Yeah.
Okay, so I'll be remiss if I don't ask this question.
Okay.
And I'm certain that you've spoken about it before, and I might have missed the story. But just as a lover of MCs, the 4-3-2-1 situation. Wait, don't do the cynical giggle yet. Like, let me ask the question.
I'm ready. Let's go. Take it back. Let's go.
Like, I'm under the impression that Canibus was paying tribute to your arm or whatever, and like, I never knew the story behind that.
Yeah.
I didn't even know it was a diss. Like, Sorry for making you rehash.
No.
Again.
Look, Canibus really ain't do nothing wrong, man. I just, Canibus just touched the third rail.
Oh Lord, shit.
No, he didn't do nothing wrong.
Street.
Okay, he didn't do nothing wrong.
Street. I know.
You know what I'm saying?
I got the reference. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, that was a scary moment.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Movie.
He touched the third rail. Because we had met downstairs earlier, and he said, "Yo, L, man, I'd like you to tell me to get a tattoo just like yours." And instead of me saying, "All right, man, do your thing," I'm like, "Nah, you gotta get your own." I'm like territorial and all that on the mic.
Okay. All right.
And so, and I had just said that to him, and then when I heard him on the record, because I said, "All right, he's gonna go do his vocal," I'm like, "Yeah, do your thing." When I heard him on the record, he's like, "Is that a mic on your arm? Let me borrow it." I'm like, "Oh, we just had this conversation."
I get it. I
so
didn't
and then-
understand
That
first
was
part.
the original. Yeah.
Right. And so actually, it was really more about me being a little bit more oversensitive. I think, you know what I'm saying?
Good for you,
I think it was more about that. That being said, look, what I try to do with him, I say, look, after it happened, I thought about it. I'm like, yo, you know what? If you don't say, I don't know, say something on the record or something, nobody will know what I'm talking about. Just flip it and do something else. Or,
Right.
And he didn't want to, go with that. And then he made the record and, But I tried to embrace him later. Like I did shows with him at Barclays and, I did a show with him. I brought him out. Barclays, I brought him out, different concerts. I try to give him love because I want him and his fans to know that, I got love for him.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? It just, it was just hip hop.
Yeah.
It was just an MC hip hop thing. I didn't really wish him any real ill will. You know what I'm saying?
How was the you spoke earlier about working with Trackmasters? I want to ask you about the Phenomenon album.
Yeah.
What was that like, and has y'all relationship changed coming off, either for better or for worse, coming off of Mr. Smith going into Phenomenon?
Phenomenon, like the Phenomenon album was one of those things where I just wanted to experiment. So I went in the studio with Puff and messing around with the Phenomenon song. And, me and Steve, had a conversation about it recently because I think now in hindsight, they probably looked at it like I was just kind of bailing on them a little bit. But in reality, I was trying to just be creative and do different things and just work with different people and experiment. Because I like working with different producers. I like hearing different things. I like that. I enjoy it because I do this for fun too. I don't do this just for a chart position or money. I do it because I love it. So part of that love is working with different artists and different producers and being creative. So the Phenomenon was fun. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was great, Sally Richardson on the record. Something like a phenomenon.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Which
It's
we
cool.
have her.
She'll be here in like an hour.
Yeah. She was, ooh, Mr. Smith.
Oh wow, that was her. I
All
know
that,
that was
you know
her.
what I mean? Yeah. She's cool.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
she's
Man,
cool
you
now.
had. I was gonna ask. You had a record that dropped. This has been some years ago. It was called "Take It."
Oh,
with
yeah.
Joe.
Yeah.
What happened? What happened?
It was a record that I did on I did it on a little independent label. I did the album, and I did quite a few songs with Trackmasters on there.
Okay.
And it didn't have distribution, and it was right around the time when I started my TV show.
Oh, okay.
NCIS Los Angeles at
Yeah.
the time, and I didn't make the time to promote it and really go after it and perform it and get it out there.
Was that
and
on
it just
Authentic?
Nah,
it was on Authentic. It was
Did
on
it come out with it?
Yeah, it was on Authentic. And Authentic as an album was just kind of created in a little bit of a vacuum.
Okay.
And, I was on a TV set and, I just was experimenting. It's kind of
the accidental racist jam.
right.
Let's talk
right.
about it.
So, what I was trying to say with that song, at least what I thought I was articulating, because nobody absolutely agreed. That's pretty clear. That's pretty obvious. What I was trying to say is that, you keep your shit to yourself, I'll keep mine to myself. How about that? Let's start there. You know what I'm saying? Like we just not going, you don't look at, you keep your symbolism over there, and I'll keep my symbolism over here. That's what I was trying to say. But there is a level of false equivalence there. It's hard to really connect the dots on that because you can't compare, honestly, the what a Confederate flag stands for to what somebody may perceive an outfit to mean. You just can't really,
Right.
you can't really connect
One
those.
is perception,
You
other
know
one is
what I mean?
reality,
You can't really
yeah.
connect that. So what I was trying to say, what I was looking to say is that if we could get a little bit less judgment, maybe it would help us function. You know, if we focused more on what works and less on what doesn't work, maybe it'll help us function better. That's what I was trying to say. But I just didn't, I just didn't get there. I just missed the jump shot. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is what it is. It just, that shit bounced off the back of the rim crazy. It exploded. The backboard fell down on me. The scoreboard fell down. My shorts ripped. My sneaker fell off.
Because the thing was, that record, the thing I remember about that record specifically, it came out around the time when
And you know
this
what's
was
real
Twitter.
foul?
It was like
Can
when
I be
Twitter
real
was
foul about?
Go in.
Shit went gold on top of that.
Are you
Oh,
serious?
yeah.
Wait,
It went
what?
gold. Shit went gold, B. It might be platinum now. That's even worse. Like,
Might be for the conservatives.
that might be even worse.
It's for the conservatives.
You know what I mean?
This is when they started making the basketball players wear suits.
So, yo,
Wow, I did not know that.
yeah, it went gold, man.
I forgot about that song.
Yeah, I got a
Oh.
plaque off that joint.
Wow. I'm just thinking.
Get
of
that one
Lucy.
back.
Yo, Ill Bomb. Talk
Yeah.
about that one. Like, that's another one of my
Ill
favorites.
Bomb. Now that one, a lot of fun. That was like, running around in the city, running around in Queens. Me and Bim and just run around in the city. And I, Flex asked me if I wanted to do something. Scratch made the beat. I just went in the studio, and everything I was saying on the record was kind of like what we was living. We had the strobe lights flashing on the trucks and all that. It was all, it was real. It was very real. It was very real.
I was going to say also, what's my joint on Exit 13? You Better Watch Me.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the thing. So I don't know if you know
Say it
Chris.
like that. You better watch me.
No, Chris Rock's nickname is what Guy Osiri dubs Chris Rock. He always calls him Track 9 because Chris is the type of music fan that doesn't go for the hit. He goes for the filler. He'll go for Stevie Wonder's
Maybe Your Baby or something.
yeah. Like
right.
the filler cut to let you know he's a deep music fan. And when it came out, he was just like, this is the one. How come I wish, why wasn't more made of You Better Watch Me? That to me,
You know what's funny, man? I'll tell you, man.
that shit was such a winner.
I think one of the things that that happens, and this happens with labels, this happens with artists, you get spoiled by so spoiled by instantaneous reactions that when you have records that kind of hit a different part of your audience, that is not as reactive, you just don't know how to gauge it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've had a lot of songs like that. Like the doo-wop was a song that that people back in the days really liked.
Right.
But I didn't know back then how to react to that. How to react to it. You know what I'm saying?
I was going to ask you if we could do that on tour, but
I would. You know what I mean?
After we kept Mr. Goodbar, but then there's some other, you just kept cutting them off. I was like, I'll never get.
Yeah, when you did Nitro, when he dropped did Nitro, I was like,
boy.
oh my God. Like,
Oh
what?
boy.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Oh boy. That's an 18-wheeler right there. Woo.
Yes.
Good God.
What was it like working with the Bomb Squad?
Excellent.
Okay.
Eric Sadler, Keith and Hank Shockley. The way they worked on them, the way they put
Did they
the beats
build
together.
the beats in front of you?
Yes.
Or is it? Oh,
Yes.
wow. Okay.
Yes, they built them in front of me. Yeah. Yeah, it was crazy. Nitro was crazy, and it gets no rougher. Yeah.
So, now for me, knowing what you mentioned earlier that you have absolutely no qualms whatsoever about scrapping an entire record.
Right.
So, just based on your history,
Right.
how much is in the LL Cool J canon
Right.
In the vault.
from radio down to the F.O.R.C.E album?
And will we ever see any of it? Will you ever release any of it?
I'll never put any of it out. I probably have
Well, you at least won't put nothing in your will this can't come out posthumously or anything.
No, I'm not
right?
gonna do that. No, I'm not gonna do that.
Okay.
I'm not gonna do that. But we got to see who lives. You know, we don't know.
Right.
We don't know. There's no telling how that's gonna play out.
I'll get my help on. I'm getting my help on.
I'm saying in general. No, I'm saying in general. We don't know how that's gonna play out. But,
we know you might live longer than the rest of us.
Hey, listen, I'm not talking tough in that one. I don't know.
So can you reveal? Can you reveal what you revealed to me?
Yeah.
How many songs have you made with You Know Who?
Oh,
let's start there.
Oh, so with Dre, me and Dre probably have about 40 songs.
Wow.
Yeah.
What did we?
Dr. Dre, yeah, we got.
Y'all had Zoom. That was on the Bullworth.
Right.
That one came
right.
Okay.
But we had, but we got a lot of songs in the can. Like I had a lot. Like I'll tell you a record that was mine that he obviously took my vocals off because he ended up doing it because I was all over the place. But that that song.
Explosive.
Yes.
Yeah, explosive.
Yeah, that was mine. That was one of my joints.
Oh.
Explosive was yours?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Me and Dre had did that first. Yep.
Oh,
Yeah.
whoa.
Chewy's
I
back.
can hear you over
I
there.
love when
Everything
Chewy
happens
comes
for a
back.
reason.
Yeah. That one.
okay.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was quite a few of them. It's been a lot of them. Had a lot of them.
Ah,
Okay.
damn.
Another MC needed that beat, and he did real well.
Oh, it killed it.
That's
It was
man.
dope. It was dope.
Love You Better, man.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about that working with the Neptunes. What was that?
Man, it was amazing working with Pharrell and with Chad, and that's when they worked together still too. And it was like, I mean, it was dope. It was dope. It was dope. I just the one thing, what's crazy? I was so focused on working out and getting ready for the video. This is gonna sound really crazy. I forgot to ask Pharrell to be in the video.
Wow.
I literally forgot.
Yeah, because he's on the
Yo,
song.
bro, I forgot.
Yeah.
Like.
It's Mark Dorsey's
Just
on
like
the
I
hook.
forgot to
Yeah.
ask Steve to be in
Well,
you
because
guys.
I wanted,
That's Mark
because I
Dorsey
wanted,
singing.
I wanted Pharrell to sing on the hook. Pharrell did the intro.
Yeah,
but
I was
wanted
like,
to sing-
why didn't he sing the
And
hook?
he was like, nah, I don't want to do it. I want to put my man on. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay. And so once he put Mark on the hook, then I forgot
That
to ask Pharrell to be in the video. And I seen him one day. He's like, yo, you asked me to be in the video. I'm like, I just felt crazy. I'm like, looking at him like.
But that's when you got that knife shelf down there on your V. So it was worth it for all of us who was watching the video. I remember when you put your arms up and then we was like, hey.
Speaking of which,
hey.
all right.
Hey.
Before we wrap this, now I just want to know the things that we don't know that's equivalent to Chung King Studios. For instance, do you know who's singing on Around the Way Girl?
It's the Flex, right? That's like not Chris, but it was the Lighty.
Blackstreet. It was Blackstreet.
That was
before-
Blackstreet?
Yeah,
Yeah?
before
Wait.
they were Blackstreet. So Lyte, Darren Lyte, and all of it was them guys. Yeah, it's the
Yeah,
Blackstreet guys.
it was
Yep.
crazy. Is the Flex and the job. I remember that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like
Yeah.
David Hollister? Like,
Yeah, I don't know. It was
Blackstreet.
it was Lyte and the other one and Eric.
Bald
What's
head.
What's
Okay.
Eric? What's Eric's name? Eric. His name's
Yeah,
Eric.
Eric.
Yeah, Eric. Yep. Blackstreet.
Like Tito,
Yep.
Marlon.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Blackstreet.
right.
Blackstreet.
Okay, all right. Oh, yes, as we rapid fire. What is the meaning? I've always wanted to ask you this. What is the meaning of blotitious?
Yo,
You gotta
people-
give it.
yo,
Come on. Like,
I mean, it's just blotitious. Like, you know what I mean? Like, me and my man Ty fight. Yo, Ty. And you hilarious with this, man. Like, me and Ty was seeing each other in the store. I'd be like, hey, shit. Blotitious. Hey, shit. And then I just put it on the record. Now everybody said, yo, he talking about, is he talking about trans? What's he talking about?
yeah.
Is he going left? Like, no, it's just his shit. Blotitious.
And then what's the next-
Skeevy, delicious.
Skeevy.
Skeevy, delicious.
Delicious.
Give me couscous, love me good.
God
damn.
damn.
Hollis to Hollywood.
But is it good?
I guess like the James.
Wait, we're not going to do this again.
like
we got mere
Sean
minutes.
Lee.
This is
Yeah,
what we
I
do.
mean-
All right.
So
So
that
love
was
it.
so that was
Does
the
it?
so that was the vibe on that. You know what I'm saying? And
It's hot in here too, Amir. We losing
I
our
actually
mind.
had another verse on the Flavor in Your Ear remix. And then I changed it to that one.
but is there?
Damn. Papa Love It. That record. The one off
Papa
the show
Love.
soundtrack.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, that
record,
was a
man.
cool one too. That was fun. Damn, some of them joints.
This
He's
is the part of the
hip-hop,
show
we're
where he
hip-hop
does
heads.
this.
Yeah.
But okay, so speaking of Flavor in Your Ear, was there a rumor? Like I don't know who told me. Maybe Z-Trip told me. Was that verse at all connected? I heard that was maybe directed to Biggie or something like that. With the
Why would I do that?
But then the who shot then the I shot you.
I was in the studio with Big when he did I Shot You. Who shot you? I was literally in the
All right,
studio
so
with him.
this is someone trying to make
They
something.
bugging out.
Look at all
Okay.
these rumors.
Yo, let me tell you something.
That's why I'm asking.
Some of my no, it's all good. my record, like these songs, like sometimes I like, it's just like headsprung, right? Sometimes I just do comedy on them joints. Sometimes I just do shit that's stupid. Like sometimes I'm consciously doing like Big Ellie, a bit silly, Big Money, Big Really with an R. I didn't say Big Willie and Big Billy and all these shit.
Big Really,
So between that, like saying that or doing hey shit, it just sounded good to me.
I will say
Like-
that yes, you are your level of humor on record. And people ask me on your Scissor World, I'm like, oh God, I hope they don't use this because everyone's like, give me your favorite LL record, and I was like, yo, I'm sorry, but You Can't Dance is my favorite song of all time.
Oh, wow.
You look like a moron.
Yo, that's my favorite shit of all time, yo.
And then he put Apache on it.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
what I'm
yeah.
saying. Like
Yeah.
for me,
Can't dance.
your level of humor, your evil laughter, all that's my favorite shit of all time.
love
Have
it.
we asked everything?
No, but we can do like
Last question.
All right.
I really love the F.O.R.C.E, the new song.
Oh, thank you.
So you still get the same rush from writing a song that you did when you made I Need a Beat?
100%. I love it. I mean, like, I love the fact that I would say that the way people address the idea of me having an album is going to be very different after I put this record out. Because right now it's kind of like a warm and fuzzy, cute, oh, that's cute, and let's talk about what you've done. Because that's just the nature of our game, right? Because when you do something a long time, the bar goes up and the expectations go down, right? So my bar is up here, and the expectations for
expects
what
you to
I'm going to
hit it.
deliver is down here. And so you have to be self-aware with that, right? So I love it. I love, making songs, and I love the challenge of showing people what's possible in hip-hop. We haven't had an artist that's been out multiple decades to put records out that really have impact. We've had quotables, we've had critical acclaim, we've had everything kind of in between there, but we haven't had anybody really smash them.
No.
Yeah, nah, man.
That's gonna change.
I was when we were at the F.O.R.C.E tour. I was just sitting there and I'm watching it, and like this is Rakim, this is everybody, Daylight, everybody, some of my favorite rap groups of all time. But I was just really watching your performance, and it really reminded me of something like Amir, you would say, like how what you were saying, like kind of like the curse of the straight A student, so to speak. Like you have so much longevity and so much consistency.
He's so good, we take it for granted.
You take it for granted, 100%.
Right.
And I'm just watching the performance, and I'm like, I'm watching it, but I'm like, yo, I know these songs. Like, and I don't think people really give you that credit as an MC. They give you the credit as, being a pioneer and all that. But I'm just like, yo, fuck all that. If we just talking raps, dog, like LL is probably the most quotable rapper ever. Like,
Well,
I knew
I
all
think-
the songs.
I
Like,
think that's
the lyrics,
I think that's probably look, that's all subjective, right? Like, I don't really concern myself with that part of it. What I will tell you is this. Obviously I'm good enough to still be here. So that's a start.
that's a start and the end.
Mic
shit.
drop.
You know what I mean?
Good night.
No, seriously. I mean, because you were telling your story, and I'm like, you started at 84. I'm like, God damn,
bro,
this
like,
84,
and when
85.
the album comes, a lot of them gonna listen. They're gonna listen.
Can't wait. Tell us what
they're
can
gonna
you-
listen.
Can you tell us, like you told us it was you and Tip? That's really kind of all you told us was you and
Right?
Tip.
Yeah. No, I'll make
Just leave it at that.
I'll
Don't
make the
even
announcement.
just drop
But
it on.
when
them.
When is
telling
it?
you-
What season is it coming? What season is it?
Soon.
Will it be cold outside?
Soon come.
So I just want to ask, how did you regaining your masters back from Dead
Yeah.
Jam? How did you do that?
Oh,
It just worked out. I mean, people.
Wait, you own your masters?
Yeah.
Cassie should. You fucking should. You
Yeah.
open that.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
By the way, there's a song. So when I was teaching at NYU, there's a song. I don't know how it went. Well, now that Paz explained to me the whole like how 2-inch tapes are, whatever, a rare commodity. There's an actual LL song on one of the Nation of Millions reels that I'd never heard before. It was like one verse,
Probably
I'll-
because that's probably Rick. Rick probably
just
because
like
of Rick.
saving shit. And
Yeah,
like,
probably.
Okay.
Probably that makes a
Okay.
lot of sense. Because it's funny. Like a lot of the original Public Enemy songs at the time, Rick came to me and he was like, "Yo, he wanted me to record Uzi Weighs a Ton.
Wow.
And I was like, you know, and I was like, he was like, do you want to record it? I'm like, well, what do you mean? He's like, well, you just do the song. I said, no, I write my own rhymes though, Rick. He's like, oh, okay. So then he ended up doing Public Enemy. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, so he brought me Uzi Weighs a Ton. He brought me, like, he wanted me to record a lot of those PE songs. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my God.
You had a record on the Street Fighter soundtrack. The Life
Scandalous. Yeah.
What was?
I was just wilding, man, like just having fun. Like a
love
lot
the
of the songs are like become like jam sessions, just vibing, and then say, yo, I keep that. I like it. You know what I'm saying? I don't, like, for me, to be honest with you, you know, and this goes back to the MC comment that you that you were talking about. Like, see, the difference between me and a lot of the other guys is that for a lot of them, they're always focused on being as descriptive and as creative and as clever as they possibly can lyrically on every song. I don't do that. I go for the feeling of the song. Whatever the song requires to feel good, that's what I do.
That's what it is.
I'm not so what that does is what happens is you get in situations where you only need 12 points to win.
Right.
Sometimes you need 45.
Right.
Sometimes you need 7. Sometimes you need 19. As opposed to a guy who's always out
Going
there
for 50.
trying to go for 30, 40 every night.
Yeah.
So creatively, that's why I probably am not in a lot of those conversations, because that's not my focus. I look at guys like Michael Jackson, I look at Rick James, I look at, you know, James Brown, I look at, you know, these artists, Marvin Gaye, I look at these different artists, and the thing that they all have in common is the feeling. It wasn't about just the lyric.
Technicality, yeah.
Right. The technical lyric was not what made you feel good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, nah, I mean, because we sang the whole Flavor in Your Ear verse, and blow titties ain't even the real word.
But it just felt good.
That shit felt good.
It just felt good. You know what I mean? But I bet you, you know, if in a certain scenario, if you said blow tissue, you'd be like, blow tissues. You know what I mean? Like, it's just a vibe. So that was, you understand what I'm saying?
No, 100%.
That's why, like, my catalog is the way it is. Because part of being able to run fast is being confident enough to run slow.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's also your jazz education too.
You know, being, you know what I mean? That's part of it.
I ain't got to show off all the time.
You know, because, you know, you see Usain Bolt jogging, you're like, oh, he ain't really fast.
It's like, shit.
It's like, okay. He's jogging. Okay. You know, you understand what I'm saying?
100%. Oh,
so
yeah.
that's kind of part of, but I think that I have to stick with that. I have to be myself. I don't want to be fighting for my lyrical life on every song. That's not what it's about. Because people don't need that from me. What they need is to be touched in their souls. So whatever the song requires, that's what I'm going to do.
You already do that,
All right,
Fonte.
I got. Now I have 1.5 questions because you already mentioned his name and I forgot. What was it like? Can you tell the process of making Serious Effect with Michael Jackson?
Oh, Mike is hilarious, man. So, like, first of all, when we walked in the studio, I'm sorry, I'm late. It was traffic. I'm like, yo, Mike's in traffic. It's hilarious. So, like, but we had a good time, man. Yo, we had so much fun, man. Just
What year was that made? Like, I found
it was
the
around
demo on the internet.
Around the Bad, a little bit after the Bad area.
Okay.
Like
his bad, not your bad.
No, my bad.
Well,
his
they
bad
both came out at the same
era.
time. Oh, there was a bad battle.
Bad.
I remember
You know?
Lee Bailey trying to play up that on Radio Scope, like the Battle of the Bad albums. Like, who's going to be?
That ain't even fair.
Right.
Yeah, yo, no, it definitely ain't. And so I was like, yo, you know, just working with Mike was just a lot of fun. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We had a good time in the studio. We hung out.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? We were always cool. It was great. Plus, you know, I spent so much time with Quincy Jones.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he taught me a lot about career
Okay.
between him and Lionel Richie.
Yeah.
So, it was amazing. It was amazing.
Okay, so my final question is, now the thing, when we first started rehearsing, we of course had to put it off a few days because you just became a granddad 3 times over.
Yeah.
Which made me think, like, what advice could you give us, those who are in budding relationships, those who are newly married and whatever, how to maintain your sanity and your family and also
and your career,
be a career, because I think it's rather like notable and applause worthy that you and Simone have made it through the storm, and you have kids and all
she
that
has
stuff.
a successful business too. I would love some earrings.
Right. We can work that out. I think. Look, man. I think what I've learned, man, is where I'm starting is I ain't playing detective. Okay, ain't gonna be no detective work involved. I'm not doing that. Okay, it's no detective work. So it's gonna be what it's gonna be. All right, I'm starting there.
Nah, let's go.
Because I need sanity and I need to be calm and relaxed, and that's it. So I'm not doing no detective work. Okay, I ain't cuffing nothing, and I ain't playing detective. So
Right.
I'm out that game. Okay.
Right.
So now you just take it off about 50% of your drama and everything, right? Just with that.
Right.
Just like, okay, no detective work. That's first thing. Second thing is I'm gonna try to help facilitate your dreams. Make your dreams come true, right? Help you with your dream. Make sure you right. And then the third thing is, I'm gonna always go after my dreams and my purpose wholeheartedly. You know what I'm saying? And the better I take care of me, the better I can take care of you. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And then, then there's little things, you can't be afraid of silence, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, we ain't got to be talking, man. It's all right. You know what I mean?
When I tell you,
Can we just do
LL
this the rest of the day?
no,
What
look,
do we do?
LL's literally the king. There was one point by day 4 where the
secret
Roots
stay
were
with me,
taking
B.
a daily tab on LL idioms
These are good. I'm
that are
wondering.
way past, like, wake up and smell the coffee.
Ready to
and
sit down?
all
I'm
this
not
stuff.
playing
It's a
I'm not
book.
playing
Al.
detective.
He's literally the uncle I
what that means.
missed out on in my
Right.
childhood, man.
Oh my God!
All right,
in the house. We got real quick in the house.
shit, yeah.
We
in
have
the
been
house.
talking about-
Yeah, the pants leg. How did that? Was that just something?
Yeah, I did it. Listen, the bike messages in New York did it. I liked it. I think
Okay.
Because they used to
So
do
you
it so
gave them the
so the oil wouldn't get on their chain.
Yes.
The chain wouldn't
Yeah,
get on
yeah,
their
to get on
So
the joint.
I'm like, yo, I'm rolling my joint up, man. I just started wearing it like that.
Wow,
And it took on a life of its own.
That's dope
But my
credits.
favorite thing about that is that's my son on the theme song. In the house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
In the house. So
Wow.
like
The
that-
last
yeah,
time-
Yeah, I put him on there.
Debbie did a sitcom too.
Yeah, I did the sitcom with Debbie Allen. It was a
Yeah,
lot
it's
of
the last
fun.
time she acted in a sitcom.
It was amazing. Working with Debbie was great. She's amazing.
Okay, last question. No more films, because you've been on
Oh,
NCIS
yeah.
for a minute.
Well, we just wrapped NCIS. We did 14 seasons.
Okay.
Now I have a well, I guess I could talk about it a little bit with the tentative deal. I got a reoccurring role on NCIS Hawaii, and then I got some films that I'm looking at. Yeah, I got some films.
Ready for that.
For sure.
I think we've asked
No.
absolutely everything.
Cool.
Baby.
James Todd Smith, man, no, for real. I know every time we like thank you, whatever, and like give you the presidential, but for real, when I say thank you, like
I'm happy to be here, man.
you are literally one of my favorite creative human beings ever. And the thing is that, as we said before, you make it look so effort. Like literally, it's like Steph Curry. Like after a while, you're just like, all right, great. It's going in the hoop, like big deal.
All right. He's 30 feet away.
Step
Like
a
whatever.
monster.
Right.
But yeah, and I think now, especially in light of the onslaught of death that hip hop has experienced, a lot of premature careers cut, and frankly, also seeing a lot of brothers just self-sabotage their things. Like that's why I'm watching people, and like you're really exemplary of human beings that aren't afraid, even if you make a misstep. Like it's like, okay, well that didn't work. What else is there?
It comes with the territory, right? And I would say this. I would say in terms of the self-sabotage, just to put some words out there in the universe for people. You don't limit yourself.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You don't limit yourself, and you have to be comfortable with seeing something bigger for your life, and you have to be comfortable with that idea. A lot of people think they're comfortable with it, but the reality is every time they say that they self-talk to themselves about doing something big, there's a little voice that jumps in there and says it's not possible.
Because it's going to require you to change.
It's going to require you to change, and a lot of it is also just fear-based and kind of feeling like a lot of people feel like success is like hitting the lotto. and it's not.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's a habit.
It's
a practice.
the effect is like hitting the lotto.
Yeah.
But the journey isn't. You understand what I'm saying?
100%.
So like if you wanna, you gotta be willing to believe in yourself and that aspect of yourself, and you gotta really believe. You gotta believe, man. You can't be limited. You gotta believe in yourself and believe in the power inside of you to do something greater with your life. You know what I'm saying? And that really is something that, you know, when you drifting off to sleep at night, you have to envision something greater for your life. You have to make a conscious effort to control your thoughts on a daily basis so that you seeing yourself go to the heights you want to go to. You can't just be, your mind shouldn't be like a cork just thrown in the ocean, just randomly bouncing around. You should be very intentional about what you want out of life.
I need you to gather everyone in hip hop and just lock them in camp and just talk to them
For real,
for
that should
3
be a
hours.
whole retreat.
Man,
All right, well,
All right.
once again,
FUBU in Gap. We got the FUBU in the
Yeah.
Gap. I just totally
Yeah,
forgot
that was
about
a moment.
Just-
That was definitely a
how
moment.
did you pull that off?
Because they was saying, oh, you can't do it. They can't. I own this. Okay.
So they knew?
No. They know I owned it.
Yeah.
But you
know,
just
you
forced
know,
bias on the low. I get it. I get it.
I mean?
I
You know
get
it's
it.
a car outside. They didn't know it's your car.
Right.
I gotta ride outside.
All right.
know?
On behalf of Fontigolo and Sugar Steve
Nah, thank you,
and
man. Thank you
Unpaid
for
Bill
real,
and Lightyear, man.
Obrigado.
Nah, man,
The
you are one of the
great-
reasons why I do what I do, brother.
Thank
for
you.
real.
Yes,
Great
Straight
James
up.
Star Smith has finally come on to Questlove. We don't need no more episodes. We good.
Go get your
we
Uber
good,
XL.
man.
Thank you
Go
so
home.
much. We appreciate it. Till
Thank
next
you.
time, y'all.